system. I do have an intermediate course, I have an advanced course, I have a dynamic course. But first things first, you got to get to know yourself. You got to get to know your weapon system before you can even get to harmonize with it. Okay, I can see, and I know some of you guys have some experience, prior experience, which is going to help. It's good to actually see you guys here. This is a perishable skill. This is something that if you don't get out and use, you will lose it. Okay, so it's always good to also go back to the basics. You always will resort back to the basics. Okay, so it's good to see some of the professionals here tonight. I appreciate you guys being here. I also look forward to your help in future endeavors as well. Okay, I wish I could say I know it all because I'm the guy standing in front, but I don't. But what I'm willing to do is give you guys what I do have. Okay, getting to know you and your weapon system. So what we're going to look at first, emergency exits. Jason, emergency exit, is this one unlocked back here as well? Yes. Okay. All right, so we've got the emergency exits there. Just follow your signs. Fire extinguishers, Jason?
Yes. Reach exit.
Okay. Everyone knows what the bathrooms are, yeah?
Yeah.
We good? Okay. Everyone knows what the bathrooms are? Kitchen? I know where that is. All your cell phones, guys. Let's try to keep the interruptions down to the middle. We can rock and roll with it. I don't know if you guys read my bio. He's made it available. I've been doing this for quite some time, having the honor of training with some of the top military operators, as well as law enforcement operators, private security contractors, as well as nuclear security groups. Martial arts since I was a little fart. So just in a gist, I'm not going to get into details of that. You'll see most likely when we get out there on the shooting range, performance is everything. Okay. I tell Tier 1, Tier 2 military counter-terrorist operatives and things like that when they come to me, I honor what you've done. Thank you for your sacrifice. But understand also what I care more about is what you can do. Okay? And that's what I'm going to say to all the professionals here as well. When we get out there and start running the guns and stuff like that, who's responsible for your safety first off?
You are.
You are. We're going to do the best we can to look after for each other. Okay? But you're ultimately responsible. Okay? All the rest of you guys who are professionals as well, I need your assistance out there. Get eyes on. Okay? I've been on the range before with some Marines and Army personnel. And again, when you start to get comfortable, something's going to happen. Okay? You don't pay attention to where your muzzle's going. And I was behind one Marine, we were working it, and all of a sudden I hear a Marine behind me, muzzle, muzzle! And I turned around and look, and Gunny, he was turning around talking to the guys in line, didn't pay attention to his shooter. And he was like, hey, did you see that? It's something about it. When things start to, you have small controlled detonations in your hand, people get excited. A lot of times they go to the puppy. They don't, all reasoning's gone. Okay? They get excited. So again, everybody's responsible for their own safety, but we'll do the best we can. Keep eyes on. Always know where your muzzle is headed. Okay, so safety and handling. It's the number one thing. Okay, just like everything you do in life, you got to do it more than once because to be efficient at it. Okay, some things might not be protocol. Okay, you go to different places, they have different protocols. And this is something that we're trying to work with the protective detail here for this church. We need to have concrete, something written down. This is the Bible for us operators. You got to have it. And then you have to enforce it. So I really appreciate all you guys coming out here because, again, stepping up and getting out here. I know we all have places to go and things to do. This is important for the safety, not only yourself, but also your brothers and sisters who are out there enjoying worship and service. Okay, so I thank you guys for doing that. So again, just like all things, you got to do it over and over and over before it becomes natural. Okay, you see the absence of the normal and the presence of the abnormal. Okay, you got to get used to certain environments and certain conditions. Okay, so here are the golden rules: treat others as you would like to be treated. Always keep your gun pointed in the safe direction. The gun should be pointed in the direction that if it should discharge, it won't produce injury or death. Always keep your finger, we always say, always keep your booger hook off the bang bang switch. Keep your booger hook off the bang bang switch unless you want to destroy something, because that's what it's made to do. If it's just skeet or human life, it will destroy it. It has an after effect too, so there's a warning with that. It's not only between you and the adversary, it's between you and the adversary, their family and their friends, and yeah, it's more of a collective than just you and him or her. Okay? So keep your booger hook off the bang bang switch until you're ready to destroy the target. Always treat the firearm as if it is loaded. Okay? Now, as you see, we have certain safety protocols as you come in. We have that paracord things where the knot sits inside the chamber. It's pretty much impossible for anything to get inside the chamber. It will cause an out of battery condition if someone should do that. We do have security personnel on the grounds who are armed, okay, just in case some people like to come in and cause trouble. We'll take care of that. If anything starts to happen and you guys do not have cartridges on your persons to go hot in case anything should happen, hit the ground, or if proximity allows you to, take control of the situation, and we got your back. Okay? Just wanted to put that out there. Do not handle a firearm while someone is downrange. This is basic. Some of you guys who have experience, have you ever been downrange as cartridges or bullets fly by you? Yes? I have. I've had 223s whizzing by me, but that's called area of responsibility. It's something that we get into when we get into more dynamic and more professional running and advanced work. Okay? I've done it with the Marine and stuff like that. Yeah, you're downrange, but you don't move unless you actually have good communication. Okay? But this is basic. Nobody should be downrange while people are using the range and the range is hot. Nobody should be downrange. Muzzle awareness. Know where your muzzle is pointing at all time. I want you guys to treat your muzzle as if there's a laser beam coming out of the tip of it. If you cut somebody in half, it's on you. Okay? We will have defensive tactics and drills where we actually will be pointing weapon systems at each other, but again, we go through a proper safety protocol for that. Who in here is uncomfortable pointing a gun at somebody? It's a good amount. Guys, we got to get over it. What do you think you're doing? I know it sucks. It really does. A lot of people cringe because we've been told that since we were very young. Don't point it at people. There's a difference of sport and security ops. Totally different. Okay? We're here for you anyway. If you'd like to call me or Jason or whatever, there has to be a lot of psychological fitness that goes with this. There has to be a lot of spiritual fitness that goes with this. So we're going to try to get behind you guys the best we can to promote you in all aspects of fitness. Physical fitness, psychological fitness, and spiritual fitness. You've got to have these. And you got to do something every day to help promote these aspects. To be a good warrior. Who's a warrior? Come on. Good Lord Almighty. Every one of your all's hands should be raised. If you're willing to put the weapon system on your hip and go out there and protect others, if you're willing to lay your life down for a friend. I don't know about you, but I've read somewhere. Yeah? So all you guys are warriors. You got to get yourselves conditioned the best you can psychologically and physically and spiritually. Because this is going to rock your world. If you ever have to go downrange, if you ever have to take someone's life, guys, there's pre-incident, there's incident, and there's post-incident. You got to think of all three and how you're going to recover. There's all three. Okay? Be sure you're going to safe to operate. That means any type of discrepancies with your weapon system. Is there fatigue cracks? Is there anything, guys, I'm not kidding you. I was teaching some guys over in Sevier County, some of their special operations response team members. And you all know what a glass house is? Some of you law enforcement guys, a glass house is, we don't have partitions. The only partition I had was a partition where the operator stands behind. But we had targets set up inside this glass house where they would come around and they would go to the point of domination while they take out targets of opportunity. Okay? Well, he just pulled his AR system right out of his cruiser, and we got it all set up and everything. Everything's loaded up. I explained the drill, and I was like, all right, you ready to go? And he goes, yep. All right, on you. Now, again, you'll learn this. I don't know about you guys who are professionals as well. A lot of people go when you squeeze them when they do a stack. Okay? And we don't teach that. We teach them when we let go of you. You know why? Boom! There's a bilateral reflex. People normally squeeze when they get startled. You might tell your guys to go in before it was ready to go. It's like a bulldog. That's what you guys are. Before you go into a house, you're a bulldog. And you're ready to go. You're ready to go. Well, what do you do when a bulldog is ready to go?
Let him go.
Let him go. Okay? I let him go. He comes around. Boom! Click. Of course, you guys know standard operating procedure. If your primary goes down, ditch it, get to your secondary, still get your point of domination. Thing is that for the reasons why I wanted to see why his weapon system just went down, hence he just pulled it out of his cruiser. I told him to hold his position, put it on safe. Came up behind him, I looked down in there, and a stovepipe. Why would a gun stovepipe?
It's a number of things.
Give me one.
Magazine malfunction, it could be.
Wasn't sat all the way, maybe?
Could be a dirty gun.
Dirty gun.
Yeah.
Bingo. That's exactly what it was. I looked down there, and the carbon buildup was ungodly. Did you not hear what I said at the beginning of the story, though? He just pulled the AR system out of his cruiser. That was his service weapon. Okay? So there again, you're responsible for your safety. You're responsible also for those around you if you're willing to step up to this type of level. You got to make sure your equipment is ready to go. You are the ultimate weapons platform, not this. This is a weapons system. Hence goes in onto the weapons platform. Now, what I've seen a lot, guys, these weapons systems are highly calibrated. Okay? You are not. You have to raise yourself to the calibration of what you carry. And that's why you got to get to know you and your weapon system. And that's another reason why we have this course here today. Okay? Use only correct ammunition for your firearm. Sometimes you have loads that are extra hot, P plus Ps, stuff like that. Get in your maintenance manual. Know what type of ammunition is fit for your gun. Don't put something too hot in a system that isn't ready for it. You're going to damage your weapon system. Wear eye and ear protection when we're on the range. Store your firearms where it's not accessible to other people. Okay? That don't need to be messing with it. Children and other people who are not trained, what happens when they first grab a gun? They put that daggone booger hook on the bang bang switch because they've seen it in the movies. That's where it goes. You know? It's automatic. They don't think about it. Okay? So be smart on where you put your weapon systems. What are the causes of handgun accidents or firearm accidents as a whole?
Carelessness.
Carelessness.
Ignorance.
Ignorance. Well, ignorance is the lack of knowledge, which you guys will not have after today. Guys, we've sent you information packets. Read them. We're going to be sending you a lot of information packets. Read them. Help me out, help the other instructors and other people who will step up as time goes on. Move forward with your education. If you don't use the material that we give you, we're going to be stuck in a stalemate, and we're not going to be able to produce and keep going forward every time we meet. Okay? Educate yourself. Ignorance. A person who operates a gun without the basic handgun knowledge and the rules of operating the gun. Another one is carelessness. This gets a lot of people. I just got with some of my operators just the other day. We have this safety arch that we actually indoctrinate. Okay? Whenever we're pulling our weapon systems out, you guys see, I got the paracord and everything. I still want to make sure everybody sees this, okay? But there's a safety arch, and I'm doing it right here, okay? This is the only time that weapon system comes out, guys, is if it's doing a 4-count draw. If it's on a 4-count draw path, there's a good chance that you're only going to hit the adversary or you're going to hit your target, because that's the only reason why you pull your weapon system out, yeah? Okay? Something goes wrong with it, someone's like, oh, it's broke. Guess what they do? See what I'm doing? Oh, sorry. They do it all the time. Their head's down. What's going to happen most likely if you're in a firefight? Yeah, that's where they're coming from. All right? Your workspace, guys, is between your belt and your shoulders. This is your workspace. It's when you operate your weapon system if there's a stoppage or if there's a malfunction. So on that 4-count draw, guys, guess what? 1, 2, 3, and 4, if, again, proximity allows you to. Where I'm at right here is already compressed. This is where it should be at all time if you're not engaging a target or it's not in the holster. This is where it needs to be. Why?
Because you can pull it straight in.
It's in your workspace. It's in your workspace, and it's good muzzle discipline. If you have an issue with your firearm, guys, look at it this way. If there's an accidental discharge, it goes into the ground. Or you bring it up this way. Make sure everything's set. Make sure you look and assess. Okay? Everything needs to be up here. You need to get used to this. You need to get used to this being up here so you can keep track of what's going on down there. Period. When you're done with this, and if there's any type of malfunction, keep it on the safety arch. Now, muzzle's always going to be pointed where?
Down.
Even if you're practicing, it's right there. Okay? And then return back to the holster, reverse in that 4-count draw. I go back to a 2, which is right over my holster, then I put my muzzle back down, and it goes back in. This is building your neurological pathways. You know what's going to save your butt when crap hits the fan?
Muscle memory.
Okay? Neurological pathways being built. My coating on this one's almost gone on my frame because of all the times I keep pulling this thing out. All right, I got a little red mark right here. It's also part of weapon retention. Please understand you'll never rise to the occasion. It's not going to happen. You're never going to rise to the occasion when you come under fire. You're only going to default to the level of training you have. Now, the question is how much time you put behind the weapon system to have confidence that it's going to be there. Okay? Especially, you guys seen your all services. Come on. How many people you got in there? Yeah. That's dynamic as you can go to get. You got low light operations going on in there. You got tons of people around you moving, praising the Lord and everything else. I know you guys are coming in basic, and I know this is just a security operation, a startup security system. But guys, there's nothing basic about that. There's nothing basic about it. So please try to get that mindset out of your mind. This is just a security group. No, it's not. You guys are operators. You guys are warriors dealing in a very complex situation. Don't think you're anything less than that. Okay? So carelessness. Carelessness happens a lot of times when we fall asleep and not pay attention to what's going on around us. It happens a lot, guys, believe it or not. Just like I was talking about being with military professionals. They still do it. Okay? All right, emergency plans. Once we get out there on the range, guys, please understand, if there's an emergency, we'll have designated individuals to step up and take control of the situation. Okay? We have nurses that's going to help us out. If there's anyone that gets hit or is injured during a shooting accident, training accident is something you guys need to remember. Okay? Take charge of the situation. When you call for help, please tell them that it was a training accident. A firearm training accident. Because if you just say someone got shot, what's going to happen? Yeah. Guys, you got to think of what you're saying. Give them good information. This is just a training accident. Someone's been injured. Okay? Now what you say? Render aid. We'll have nurses on standby. I'm also a basic medic. But when there are people more knowledgeable than I, please have at it. Direct the medical help to the location. There will be people up on the street, making sure we get the EMS to the right location. Okay? And then take notes and report of what happens. Everybody will be assigned to this. Cleaning your weapon system. Why do we clean it? Yeah, it's a part, guys, it was a part of that first portion that we were talking about. How are you going to know if your gun is safe to operate? One of the best ways to inspect something is what? Clean it. Clean it up. Pay a little more attention to smaller details. All right? Clean it every time you use it. One of my special operations guys, he bought a gun from Israel, and he purposely didn't clean it because he wanted it to jam. He wanted to see how many times he can put rounds down range before it would lock up. Okay? It was over 3,000 rounds before it locked up. Now, unless you're going to do something like that, clean it every time you use it. You get to know your weapon system better. Clean it, break it down, know the systems. Because, guys, the firing cycle is very important. And anything that disrupts that firing cycle, you got to remedy that. clear it and get your weapon system back up in a timely fashion to save your life. The only way you're going to get to know that is by knowing your weapon system. Okay? So why do we clean it? Ensure the handgun operates properly and preserves the finish. Preserves the finish and against rust. My finish needs a little work on it. Cleaning materials, cloth patch, cleaning rod, soft cloth, cleaning rod attachments, the bore brush as well as the tip for the holds the patches. Small brush or an old toothbrush will also work. I'm just going to slide through this real quick. You don't have to use these products. Some people don't like them, some people don't. It's like shoes. Find what works best for you. One of those guys, oh, I'm going to have a yawner. I already got a yawner. You got to just stand up and do jumping jacks. Oh, yeah? Oh, she just threatened me. You guys see that?
You got your weapon system.
I don't think it'll work.
We just beat each other to death.
Yeah, amen. Blunt force weapon. Okay, so just like, as I said, just like anything, guys, find what works for you. The guy who actually pulled his weapon system out of his cruiser used way too much. Way too much lubricant. So all that carbon and everything else had something to attach to and build up rather quickly. Okay? Bore cleaner or lubricant. Guys, how do you clean it? Well, make sure it's unloaded, yeah? That's a good thing. So attach a bore brush to it, go down, put some bore cleaner on it, and run it down there about several times. Get all the particles and everything out of the bore of the barrel. You can look up and in the light and see if there's any particles left inside there. Run a bore brush, as I said, through several times. Remove the bore brush and attach a patch tip. Okay, with a little bit of cleaner. Run it through several times. How many of you guys have experience with revolvers? Okay, yeah, I know you do. All right. All right, so run the dry patch through several times. Run a light oil patch again through the bore, and then wipe the outside of the pistol with a clean cloth and lightly coated in oil. A lot of oil, but again, just don't use too much of it. Handgun storage. Storing handguns where they are not accessible to unauthorized persons. There are several considerations. Individual personal situation. Of course, if you live alone, that's different from having a house full of kids. Okay? Got to know that. Are children present? Okay? How many times we've heard children shooting other neighbors and family members on accident? Handgun storage, it's up to you. Okay? Just like if you guys, how many of you guys CCW? How many of you guys carry? Okay, good. How many of you guys carry with one in the chamber? Beautiful. Okay, because those who do not carry one in the chamber, we're going to do some stress inoculation drills part of this. I like the sound of that. Stress inoculation drills, we have blank firearms and things like that that we're going to use. If you don't carry one in your chamber, we're going to tell you why you should. And we're going to show you why you should. Okay? It's time controlled, time sensitive in combat. Time competitive, time sensitive. Reactionary gap in time is a thing. Okay? If you don't get your weapon systems out, deploy, use that 4-count draw, get on, try to get your natural zero and everything else down, guys, guess what? You better extend that reactionary gap in time. That's all I'm saying. But how many times have you seen conflicts? How quick does that collapse?
Milliseconds.
Right now. And you're going to notice that because you're going to be getting put through it. With blanks and everything else. It's amazing how people freak out when bang bangs start to go off. Boom, boom, boom. I was training some firefighters on how to be passive aggressive. You know, some of the things that they have to deal with, dealing with keeping people at a safe distance from the burning structures. If there's a child in the house, guess what the mother and father is going to try to do? Screw you firefighters, my little baby's in there, I'm going to go after him. Well, guess what? Firefighters are not allowed to do that. So I had a gun. Most of my blanks. Yeah. Again, this is a voluntary thing. When we use the blanks, guys, that would be completely voluntary if you want to go for it. Okay? Because they do get loud. Okay? And one discharge right next to this firefighter's head, and he just collapsed into a fetal position on the ground. It's just amazing. People react different ways. And I'm looking at him, I'm like, you all right, brother? That was loud. Yeah. But guys, please understand something. Survival stress reaction is a thing. Physiologically wise, a lot of times some things that people suffer is auditory exclusion. They won't hear a lot of stuff. So some of you guys might have the blessing of experiencing that when we get the blanks. As a general rule, guns are not intended, the guns that are not intended for personal protection, you need to leave unloaded while they're in your home. Just a general rule. Not mine. Each to their own salvation. Okay? It's totally up to you. Your house is your castle. Safety first, guys. Safety first. Now we're getting to the good stuff. Anybody need a break? Bathroom break? Put some candy on the back, get some sugar in you, because you might fall asleep on this one. Okay? Legal aspect of conflict. Now, we're just going to talk about a lot of the TCAs, the Tennessee Code Annotated, and things like that. Now, I hear the rappers going. That's good. Get it in you. 3 things a student must, or a student should remember. You are financially responsible for everything that projectile touches. You are responsible. Get it through your head. This is not John Wick. Okay? Get it? Oh, what? What happened? John Wayne. No, it's not either. Guys, de-Hollywoodize yourself for a quick second. De-Hollywoodize. Okay? This is real. You have to be accountable for everything that supersonic projectile or subsonic projectile touches. Shoot only, and again, legal aspects. What's that laugh for? To neutralize the threat. You got to watch what you say. Best thing is not to say anything at all. Okay? Get a medical examination first. Something, because it's high stress. Shoot only to neutralize the threat. Guys, keep going until he or she does not become a threat anymore. Deadly force can only be used when you or another person are in, what is this?
Imminent.
Get it through your head. Get it through your head. Now, how many times, I know this is a basic handgun course, but when we go out there and we test your abilities, we're going to test you also if you're going to pull or not pull. You don't go to your weapon system right out of the gate. I know this is a basic handgun course, but I guarantee you the majority of you guys are going to go straight for this. Don't do it. That's why we have to teach basic hand-to-hand combat type stuff along with your firearm handling and tactics. Because most likely what? It's going to be a fist fight before it's a gunfight. Unless totality of circumstances dictate otherwise. Okay? That's atmospherics. We'll get into that later. When you're there's an imminent threat. Remember, survive, period. So let's look at some of the laws and the principles and what better positions yourself in the court of law. Again, guys, you're responsible of knowing and keeping up with the laws. It's not my job. It's not the law enforcement guy's job. It's not the lawyer's job. It's your job. If you're carrying the weapon system out there amongst everybody else, it's your job to keep up with the laws and the changes in the laws. Reference to TCAs. Please get an attorney. Get a good one, okay? Because there are a lot of loopholes in law that you can learn the basics, but there's a lot of things that the attorneys and prosecutors can go around. They know deeper than what you do. So put their aces in their places and have faith in them, but also do your homework, all right? What is shared here is reference only. Laws change. Sorry to tell you. Was there a need for the application of force? Was there a need for it? Who in here understands what verbal judo is? Okay, verbal judo is your mannerisms. You know what mannerisms are, yeah? How you look toward other people. Confident, tired, upset, happy. Those are mannerisms. Watch your mannerisms. All right? Also, how you present yourself verbally. We all know that over, 95% of communication is nonverbal? Okay? So, if I'm looking at James, this is not a good thing. This is, you got a problem? Okay? All this stuff, you guys, you have to take into consideration. This is an art. Okay? I'm sorry to say sometimes there's a little bit of politics mixed in with it. You got to play politics. Smile when you don't want to. All right, be nice. Be nice until there's a time not to be nice, and then you go back to being nice again. Okay? Soft hands, hard hands, and then soft hands again. I do it with my kids all the time. They're inoculated, that's a scary thing. Okay, so the relationship between the resistance and the level of force, is it proportional? They come up there, and they bow up, okay, and you pull your firearm out and shoot them, they're going to look at totality of circumstances. Guys, please learn that phrase. Totality of circumstances. It's a very simple phrase for a very, very dynamic situation. Totality of circumstances dictates everything you will and will not do. You know how quick, though, it goes by? That quick. Totality of circumstances. So the court of law is going to take that into consideration. They're going to take into consideration your sex, age, are you on something? All right, is it drug or alcohol induced? The weather, and they're going to try to take and consider all this stuff. Okay? That's what they're going to do. Totality of circumstances. So when we do defensive tactics and drills, why did you do that? It's not that you're in trouble. I want to understand what you were thinking and why you were thinking. Well, because of this. Okay? Please understand, everything that you launch off of your platform needs to be backed up by law as well. Your confidence in the law, that gives you that ability and that confidence to do what you need to do. Okay? So please also be aware of all the other problems that law enforcement is going through right now. Even though they follow protocol. Okay? I want you guys to understand that. Even if you do everything correct, you might as well go ahead and maybe put some sick time in to your work if you're a part of the investigation. These are kind of hard times. But again, please understand you got to live with yourself too. Paducah, Kentucky, active shooter situation. This kid walked in and had 9 headshots to a prayer group. Okay? There's a prayer group inside the foyer of the school. This kid just walked in, never held a gun before in life, but he played a lot of first-person shooter games, I tell you that. He gets out. How hard is it on the move to shoot headshots? Depends on how fast you're moving. That's pretty significant.
Yes.
That's significant. This kid did it. The principal ran to his car, grabbed his gun out of his car, ran back in, and said, "Son, stop!" Of course, it doesn't always happen like this. The kid stopped, and he put the gun down. Maybe it was a new response that was taught to him because every time he came home, he was playing games, and one time he would stop as if his mom said, "Son, stop, come down for dinner. Son, stop, time for go to school." Who knows? But anyway, the kid put it down. Now, that principal broke the law. You think he spent 1 day in jail for it?
No.
You got to be smart. And again, you have to live with yourself. Was the force applied in good faith based upon perceptions of a reasonable trained individual and objectively reasonable? And the objectively, this is another word you guys need to remember. Objectively reasonable facts. The individual had what? At the time of the incident, reactionary gap in time again. Guys, this is more complex. You will get further understanding shortly. Right now, we're just going through it on words. I want to put you through some stuff that you're going to feel it. This is what a lot of law enforcement have to go through every day. Every day. All right, deadly force. So what is reasonable belief? What's reasonable belief? I like interaction, so don't fall asleep on me.
You gotta believe you're gonna die if you don't neutralize the threat.
When facts or circumstances the individual knows or should know, or such that to cause an ordinary and prudent person to act or think in a similar manner. Okay. You guys understand what that says?
No.
There was a no. So, when the facts or circumstances that an individual knows or should know, or such that cause an ordinary or prudent person to act in a similar manner under similar circumstances. I break into your home. I have a gun. You say, get out of my house, and you kill me. How many prudent people would do that?
Most.
That's what it's talking about. That's what the law is going to look at. Again, all of it has to be backed up by totality of circumstances. All that has to be backed up. Okay? Someone comes in and says, you're stupid! Boom! And you shoot him because he calls you stupid. Okay? No, that's not what a prudent person would do. So they're going to look at it from a census standpoint of view. Guys, you don't understand how laws were formed, yeah? By a census. You know why that principal didn't go to jail? Let that judge put that guy in jail and see how the community will just completely go in an uproar. Because we all know it's just not right. And the group holds power. Divided we what? Fall. United is where you stand. And that's also how laws are built and put into order. A lot of law enforcement officers who are doing the right thing, guess what? They're under scrutiny, right?
Yeah.
Why? Is it the propaganda that media is making them look like, hey, this is what they did wrong, blah, 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 and a lot of people are believing it without understanding at all?
Exactly.
That's where it lies, because it seems like more of a census is on, he did something wrong, virtually, morally, without gaining 100% of information. True information. You guys are responsible. You guys are the ones, if you're going to carry this and you're going to be operating as a security operator, it's your responsibility to get to know this stuff. Because it's knowledge. Education breeds knowledge, which breeds security, which breeds a sound mind and sanctuary. All right? Sound knowledge. So, serious physical injury. Bodily injury that creates a substantial risk of death, causes serious or permanent disfigurement, or result in long-term loss or impairment of function of a body or an organ. All right? A knife, baseball bat, gun can do those things. TCA 3911, 611, self-defense. Tennessee Code. What does the state of Tennessee state of self-defense is? Someone read it. I'm getting tired of reading. Come on. I want some interaction here. Read one.
A person who is not engaged in unlawful activity and is in a safe place where the person has a right to be has no duty to retreat before threatening or using force against another person when and to the degree the person reasonably believes the force is immediately necessary to protect against the other's use or attempted use of unlawful force.
You guys are going to get this whole entire PowerPoint. I don't expect you guys to learn all this tonight. That's one of my main reasons of giving you this PowerPoint. It's because you guys can go back in the luxury of your homes, pick it up and read it. So don't worry about trying to learn all this tonight. Okay? That was a mouthful. Stand your ground state, yeah? It's a stand your ground state. That's what that means. But it better be proportional. Better be proportional. Somebody else.
A person who is not engaged in unlawful activities, as in a place where the person has a right to be, has no duty to retreat before threatening or using force intended or likely to cause death or serious bodily injury. If the person has a reasonable belief that there is an imminent danger of death or serious bodily injury, the danger creating the belief of imminent death or serious bodily injury is real or honestly believed to be real at the time and the belief of danger is founded upon reasonable grounds.
I highlighted some certain words in there. Guys, you all in law enforcement, you guys understand they definitely went away with the step force continuous. Now there's a disc. Because they know from experience of blood, those who've shed their blood before, it's not a step thing. It's a very sensitive thing.
Those attorneys was eating that up.
And attorney's absolutely right.
They was eating that
But
stuff
this
up.
is an order. Again, those individuals who've never had the ability or time to go out there and actually see how it goes. From officers present straight to deadly force in just a few seconds. We talked about the OODA loop last class. Some of you guys were in threat assessment, intervention, and management. Know the OODA loop. You'll get to know that pretty soon. Observation, orientation, decision, and action. Everything in life runs off of that. Doesn't matter if it's tactical, it doesn't matter if it's you're going to the grocery store. Observation, orientation, decision, and action. That's the OODA loop. TCA 3911-612, defensive of a third person. Okay? A person is justified in threatening or use of force against another to protect a third person if. Now, what does that mean? What is a third person?
Somebody
Needs
that's
to be
with you,
In order to protect yourself.
bystander.
Yeah, just another person between you and the adversary. Okay? I taught the concealed carry course for over 3 years, and let me tell you something. Just be a good witness is almost the best thing to do. Because a lot of times, you guys, you don't understand the complexity of the situation, especially if you just came up on it. Know what you're getting into. Okay? I walk up to a situation or a gas station and a guy knocks his lady to the ground. All right? Of course, all of us men will most likely try to do what we have to do. We'll go in, intervene the best we can. But what, you guys understand what imminent partner in domestic violence, it's not always the male. Majority of the time it is, statistically. But sometimes it's the female. How do we know that the male is not a victim of domestic issues and he just had enough and pushed it down? Watch your mannerisms. Watch how you intervene. Watch what you say. All of this, since this COVID thing is broken out, you have anxiety meds and stress and depression. All this stuff, guys, is going through the roof. What do you think these pharmaceuticals are doing to people neurologically? If you have suicidal thoughts, stop taking the drug. What? Guys, it happens. So if someone stops taking their drug after they've been on it for a while, do you think they might be the same individual?
No.
There's a lot of things, guys. That's a part of totality of circumstances. So if, under certain circumstances, the person believes, and reasonably believes them to be, the person would be justified under 3911-611, what is that? That's self-defense. That's self-defense, okay? You'll be justified under that in threatening or use of force to protect against or the use or attempt, right? Attempted use of unlawful force, reasonably believed to be threatening the third person, and that person sought to be protected. Again, this goes back to reasonable persons, okay? If you were under the same circumstances, would you want help? You got to think of that. Okay? Watch how you intervene. The person reasonably believes that the intervention is immediately necessary to protect the third person. Never cut and dry, is it, guys? It's never cut and dry. Perception can be misleading. Okay? Know this. Of all the jibber jabber that I've been doing, and I see some heavy eyes. Know this. Means, ability, and opportunity. You want to be right in the middle of all of it. Okay? Imminent threat or immediate threat. The observation of actions by another person that indicate that they have the means, ability, and opportunity to carry out the threat of harm or bodily injury to an individual or others, and that it is immediate, imminent. Means, ability, and opportunity. Make sure that they have all three. The guy was breaking, these teenagers were breaking into this old man's trailer because there were some meds in there. They got in, they beat the man severely, got his medication, and they left. The guy was in a wheelchair, the elderly man. He went and got his CCW. These same teenagers came back to the trailer, started to try to break the door down. The guy shot through the door, killed one of them, the other two left. Guess what happened to the old man?
He went to jail.
He's charged. Why? Break it down. I'm sorry, this is just the way it is. A lot of us would be like, man, the guy was almost beaten severely to death the first time. See, really, the court of law would have to have some type of empathy, you know? Well, did they boys have the actual means to cause physical harm to the old man at the time that they were shot?
Not outside the door.
He's on the other side of the door.
No. Did they have the opportunity? No. Did they have the ability?
No.
Absolutely. No, absolutely. The opportunity. No, they didn't have the opportunity. They had the ability. They were physically fit. Right? But they did not have the means or the ability at the time. Again, it's proximity. The guy wasn't in imminent threat for his life at that moment. Guys, find a good place in your home. You have home court advantage, okay? A lot of times these guys coming in, if they don't know you, don't know the layout of your house. Get into a good position, and guess what? Guys, verbally, let them know. Yell at them. Is this a good day for you to die? Come on in. You know Jesus? Whatever. Don't come in that door, I'm going to have to do what I have to do. I will shoot you. I have a gun. Guys, be verbal. That can be used in the court of law. Because you know what the state of Tennessee really wants to make sure you're doing? Is everything humanly possible not to take another human's life. Verbal commands. Even if they bust through that door, guess what? Stop, stop, stop! Boop, 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 boop. All right? Means, ability, and opportunity. Be in the midst of all of it. All right, so, consistent with most recent constitutional, statutory, judicial authority, deadly force shall be defined as force, there's that word again, reasonably expected to cause death, great bodily harm, and generally includes a discharge of a firearm. An individual may use lethal force when?
To defend themselves.
When?
Reasonably believe.
When the individual reasonably believes it is what?
Immediate.
Immediate and imminent threat of death and
Injury.
His belief.
guys, get this through your head. This is why the laws keep saying it, keep spitting it out. Imminent. Imminent. Death. Physical injury. They keep spitting it. Keep spitting it out. All right, let's take a break real quick, because this is very important too. Objective versus subjective. Okay? So let's take a quick break. Some of you guys can catch up. Again, you'll have a lot of this stuff available to you. Brian, where's Brian at? Brian, if you can remember, let's try to get the whole PowerPoint slide to the individuals. Let them have the whole entire thing. All right, so an individual is permitted to use force necessary and objectively reasonable to protect themselves or others from bodily harm. The law of justifiable homicide authorizes an individual to use deadly force when necessary to protect themselves or others from what the individual reasonably believes is imminent threat of great bodily injury or death. That's justifiable homicide. So what does objectively mean? All right, good.
Somebody looking at it from the outside.
Objectively, what does subjectively mean?
It's what you.
What the individual believes.
What the individual believes. Does that hold up in court?
No.
They don't care what you think. It's irrelevant. Objective refers to what others believe or conclude. As I just got done telling you, majority of the laws are built by a census, majority rules. Okay? The individual's intent is irrelevant. Since the standard is an objective one, the individual's subjective intent is irrelevant. You can't say this enough. Or in other words, the individual's underlying motives or motivation is not relevant to the analysis. The question is whether the individual's use of force is objectively appropriate, period. Can't get much more simple than that. Even after reading all those laws. I should just go ahead and erase all those, yeah?
Yeah.
Right.
And just go ahead and just say this.
Yeah, just say that.
Okay? The 1+1 theory, what is that? Law enforcement buddies, the crew, what does 1+1 mean?
Level of force, level of force and weapon. Can be
1 plus
level
1.
force- Can be level force.
How can you control a situation?
You go one above whatever they're doing.
Exactly right. You meet them at the level of force plus
One.
+1. Okay? But do it harmoniously,
Do it with a smile.
politely, do it with a smile. Exactly right. Watch your tone. Smile as you hit them. Praise Jesus! He saw the light.
Healed.
That was a concussion.
Oh.
The theory is based on the concept of responding to an incident with proportional use of force. It also puts more emphasis on the use of what? Empty hand control. Hand to hand. Okay? So, techniques, let's see, where was it? It also puts an emphasis of empty hand control techniques to control a lower level of resistance. This means that the individual can use one level of force higher than the level of resistance used by the subject. Later on, we are going to get into ground control tactics. And when you first start to learn ground control tactics, especially with how I teach, it's going to be the hardest part out of the gate. Because you have to manipulate your mounts to control your energy and to control the individual from them hurting themselves or you. And you're going to know real quick how draining that is. I know I have Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is here. Okay? If you don't learn to manipulate your mounts and control the adversary on the ground, just by manipulating your position, guys, then you have no control. Once you learn how to manipulate your mount positions, guys, then the fun starts coming in. It becomes easier because then you can do joint manipulations, eye gouges, stuff like that. That's easier. But to control with passive resistance is very difficult. Okay? But that's all coming. It's going to be good times. All right, so there it is. Conditions of conflict, totality of circumstances, and the variables affecting the use of force. The individual's use of force will be judged upon conditions of conflict, also known as totality of circumstances, as known by the individual at the time the force was used. Let's look at a few variables. What type of crime is being committed? Is he breaking into the house? Is he jaywalking? Relative size and stature. Right? They'll take that into consideration. Strength, access to weapons, injury, or exhausted by the individual. That's part of totality. If someone who is overpowering you, and you now, is that not going into the point of imminent threat?
Yes.
Yes.
If you're losing your ability to defend yourself, especially guys if you're wearing one of these, what happened to that law enforcement officer that's been ridiculed when the guy took his taser? Is that still a threat?
Yes, it is.
Yeah. The weather, terrain, etc. exceptional skills and abilities, immediacy of danger, distance of subject, special knowledge of the subject, and numbers of people with you and the attacker. These are just examples of totality of circumstances that they'll take into consideration. Okay? Now that the adversary is down, now what? Surviving an aftermath of a defensive shooting incident. We already talked about having a good attorney. It doesn't matter if you use NRA, Legal Shield, some of you guys use other people, we've already talked about it. In all jurisdictions, a defensive shooting will involve what?
Investigation.
Yes, investigation. A lot of times investigation might not be so long if it happened in your house and everything is evident, it's right there in front of them. The investigation might not last as long. If the incident happened in your home, as I said, may not be one, many questions asked, unless this is absence of the normal. Why is there blood stains going down your stairs? But I shot him here, I swear.
He told me to take a bath.
Yeah. Okay. But if it happens and the incident's outside the home, that's a different story. Under these circumstances, you may be questioned further, like examples, if you knew the adversary, and there were witnesses that said that they saw you guys fighting moments later. Okay? Maybe me and him got in an argument and stuff like that, almost came down to tit for tat, and all of a sudden later on I shoot the individual. All right? Officers and prosecutors may look at your actions as illegal. If this happens, you will most likely be arrested and may spend a few hours or evenings in jail until the situation is sorted out. They have a job to do, guys. I wish they could get to a point where, like, I trust you. I understand. There are forms. There's a whole circus they have to go through, and procedures, protocols, and everything else. And I'm sorry to say, your comfort is going to have to take a back seat until everything is sorted out. Okay? Fifth Amendment. Who knows what the Fifth Amendment is?
Sits around.
Shut your mouth. This amendment provides you with a certain rights and protection. The chief among them, you have no obligation to talk to the police until you have consulted with an attorney and he or she is present for the questioning. When the police arrive, you can refuse to answer questions until your attorney arrives or one is provided. You should exercise it with common... is there anything common sense anymore? No. Use common sense. Which one are you talking about? What are you talking about, common sense? Use common sense. Do you need your attorney to answer questions like, what's your name? No. Okay? Or questions for security purposes like, which way did the adversary go? Help me out here. However, attorneys advise that you politely but firmly decline discussing anything how the event took place until they arrive. Under duress or under stress, emotions that are involved, you may not think or communicate clearly. That's what the Fifth Amendment is supposed to be about. It's because when you're under survival stress, your reasoning skills are no longer at the fore part of your brain. You're thinking with the midbrain, which is we call the puppy. Have you guys ever seen a mature puppy stand outside the screen door, even if you dump their food in their bowl? The mature puppy's just sitting at the door like, okay, you gotta open this thing. Puppy, right through the screen. The puppy's just running to get the food, okay? That's why they say don't resort to the puppy. That's your midbrain. Midbrain has no reasoning skills. It only knows to run, urinate, defecate, eat. Okay, that's what it knows. There's no reasoning. Stay in the reasoning part of the brain. It's the forebrain. Only way you can do that, guys, is confidence in your skills. And tactical breathing. Who knows what tactical breathing is? Okay, who in here has heard about Lieutenant Colonel Grossman? Okay, your heart rate dictates a lot of what is going on up here. Your heart rate can go from a normal 60 to 80 beats a minute to 220 beats a minute in just a few seconds. I have the nurses shaking their head. They understand the sympathetic and the parasympathetic nervous system and the havoc that it wreaks on your anatomy. Nothing you can stop endorphins and everything else going into the bloodstream, dilating your arteries and everything else. There's nothing you can do about that, but what you can do is help control it through your confidence and slowing your respirations down. When someone's freaking out, calm down, let's calm down, breathe for me, listen to me, we're not going to go anywhere, I need you to breathe. Slow down. Because when your heart rate elevates so high, you don't think rationally. You don't. Anxiety is right there. Okay? You have to slow your respirations down. Okay? That's another reason why they talked about that. Emotions. When your emotions get involved in everything else. Behave. Criminal and civil suits. Even if you are clear. Now, please understand what I was talking about way at the beginning. There is pre-incident, incident, post-incident. Okay? Remember that. Even if you're cleared of criminal charges, you still may be facing what charges? Civil charges. Alright? Understand that. The difference between criminal and civil is criminal charges can only be brought against you what? By the government. Civil suits can be brought to you by? Here we are. Okay? You are responsible for everything your projectile touches. Shake that off. I look forward to that discussion every time it comes up. All right, handgun, nomenclature, functions. No, you and your weapon system. These are blanks. As you can see, the good old orange plug. Yeah? Okay? They feel real, they look real. They sound real. All right, revolver. Those who have not had a revolver before. If any of you guys ever use a revolver, except for the ones who are just, Don Wayne. Okay, I'm going to pass this around. You guys can look at it. There's no cartridges or anything else in it. Watch out, the cylinder does come off the rod. So don't pull the cylinder off the rod. Okay? That's your piece. Does have oil on it, sorry. Nomenclature of a revolver. A revolver is a pistol that has a rotating cylinder. It has a rotating cylinder on it that contains a number of firing chambers. Each action of the trigger or hammer will line up with the chamber and with the barrel and the firing pin. So, those who have revolvers, sorry about the format. Those who have revolvers, what is this? Is this a single or double action?
Double.
What was that?
Double action.
Double action. That means when you pull the trigger, you cock and release the hammer. Cock and release the hammer. That's double action. Okay? What are single action revolvers? Yeah. It's the old Western. You got to cock that hammer back for it to fire. You got to do one action, cock the hammer. So it does. So double action does too. A revolver consists of 3 major components, and so do semi-automatics: frame, barrel, and action. All right. You have the barrel, the action containing. Well, sometimes it is contained within the frame, and then you have the frame. Sorry about the format. It's Jason's fault. The frame is all the components that it is attached to. Okay? This is your frame. This one here doesn't have adjustable front straps, back straps, or the side grip panels, but you can buy some where you can manipulate to feel the ergonomics a little better in your hand. Okay? This one doesn't have that. You have the trigger guard, you have the rear sight. Okay? That's part of the frame. Then you have the barrel. The barrel is a metal tube in which the bullet passes. Now, the revolver is the front sight is a part of the barrel, not a part of the frame like it does on semi-automatic. Okay? So in the front sight, you have the bore, you have the chamber with the cartridge in it, right there. You got your muzzle. You have your caliber. The caliber is the measurement between lands. Okay? You have lands and grooves inside the barrel that puts that spin on the projectile like a football. When the quarterback throws a football, puts a spin on it. It makes it a little more accurate. Okay? So it makes it a lot more stable going from point A to point B. That's what that is. It lands and grooves inside the barrel. Okay? Questions? The action is a group of moving parts used to load, fire, and reload the revolver. Okay? So again, we'll have to talk to Jason. He gets an F. Configuration. It's probably the Apple he uses. Mine's mine. Okay? So you have the cylinder, you have the hammer, you have the cylinder release, you have the ejection rod, which is right here, and you have the trigger. So the majority of the action is the things that move, right? Right?
Yep.
And we talked about single and double action revolvers. We already talked about the similarities. Double action, you pull the trigger, it does two, cocks and releases the hammer. Single action, you have to move the hammer back for it to operate. Semi-automatic pistols, which the majority of you guys probably carry. Semi-automatic pistols fire a single cartridge. All right? Another blank. You see, we've got the indicator in there. Fires a single cartridge each time the trigger is pulled. It automatically extracts and ejects the empty cartridge case and insert a new cartridge in the chamber. All right? You all know what the semi-automatic consists of. All right, I can pass this around if you like. Like the revolver, semi-automatics have three major components. Can anyone name them? Frame, barrel, action. The frame part of the semi-automatic semi-automatic is a front sight, slide lock, trigger guard, front strap, back strap, side grip panels, safety, and rear sight. Get to know your weapon. Just as a revolver, you have the barrel. The semi-automatic is that metal tube that the barrel passes through. You have your bore, your muzzle, and your riflings, and your chamber. You have your action, slide, hammer, trigger, magazine release, and magazine. They're not called clips. Get that out of your head. They are magazines, not clips. Saw that on a movie the other day. Types of semi-automatics, you have single action, double action, and double action only. These two are self-explanatory. Double action only, you have a striker fire. The hammer cannot be manipulated because a lot of them don't have hammers. Some double action only have hammers, but doesn't act the same way as the other two. You'll have a striker fire within the slide. There's a shear pin that allows that to release. Okay, we don't have to worry about that. We'll get to that here in a little bit. Cartridge breakdown. This is a cartridge. This is not a bullet. This is a cartridge. Okay? It's broken down into the case, primer, powder charge, and then the bullet. The bullet is what goes into the individual or your target. What's that?
That's not powder, it's pew-pew dust.
It's magical pew-pew dust. I don't know. Let's see if this. I don't know if this one here can actually play that. And it doesn't look like it. Normally that would show a film. Oh, there it is. Got the firing pin hitting your primer. In the chamber, there it goes. Down the barrel with the lands and grooves, and it goes and hits your target. It actually worked. Takes a little while for that to continue on. All right, there we go. All right, so we talked about different types of ammo for your firearms. You have P plus P. You have different powder charges for it. Know your manufacturer specifications for it, okay? So you can look at the box, match it with the frame or the barrel. Sometimes it has the identification of what ammunition is supposed to be going for, and also on the back of the center fire, okay? It'll be on the casing. Make sure it matches. The cartridge can be purchased with different types of bullet characteristics that directly cause a different effect when it hits the target. Okay, disbursement of kinetic energy within somebody has a lot to do with the hollow points and things like that. I talked to some combat engineers and some other Marines over in Afghanistan and Iraq, and they use a lot of the round nose full metal jackets, and they hate them. Okay, because sometimes, a lot of times, these guys were doped up to fight the fight, and when they shoot them, it just went through and through and didn't stop the individual. And the individual kept coming. And they kept hitting and kept hitting and kept hitting, and he still kept coming. Okay? This happens to all warriors in the streets. There's many stories that also where law enforcement officers have come into a building, the guy is doped up on some other type of chemical, if it be cocaine or whatever have you, and they shoot him 3 times in the chest with a .45, and the guy's still coming. The guy chased the law enforcement officer all the way back out into the driveway before he died. He was bare-chested. 3 rounds with 45 into him. He's still coming at you. That's why, guys, you never stop until you neutralize the threat. You never quit the fight. Okay? I'm just going to roll through these. You guys can check all this stuff out on your own. 25 ACP, 32 ACPs. You have to get to know what projectile is right for the weapon system that you're using. Okay? Know the characteristics of them. You can find them anywhere. 380, 9mm, 38 Super, 10mm, 40, 45 ACP, and of course a whole 45 Colt. It's a nice round. I like that. All right, how are we doing? I know lectures suck.
Did you dance?
Can I dance? Yes, I
Dance
can.
up a little bit.
Yes, I can. But I'm not going to. Who remembers the Icky Shuffle? I do. Fundamentals of marksmanship. Guys, listen. This is where it all is. When it comes to you being out there on the range, hitting or not hitting your target. Fundamentals of marksmanship. Start from the ground up. Guys, you have to tell yourself this every time you get out in front of your target. We're going to be doing something called a one-hole drill. I'm going to put a hole in your paper, and your job is to hit that hole. Your job is to pancake that hole. Sucks, doesn't it? You are capable of doing it if you just harmonize the fundamentals of marksmanship. Guys, you're only going to be a yard away from the target. Who knows anything about navigation that if you get off course just a degree? Close quarters, it doesn't matter that much,
The
right?
further you go, the further you're going to be away from it.
You multiply it. So guys, if you can't start from just a yard away from your target, and if you cannot harmonize, because guys, that paper tells the tale. If you're missing that dot, that means one of these is malfunctioned. You as the ultimate weapons platform. Was it your stance? Was it your grip? Was it your aim? Later on, we're going to get out of the side line of sight picture because there's a thing called natural zero, but you have to get a lot more time behind the weapon system. Okay? You know, is it your breath control? Is it trigger squeeze? Okay? A lot of people, if you're right-handed, most likely you're shooting down and to the left. A lot of times you got to the range, why am I shooting low to the left? Why am I doing that? Well, are you slapping your trigger? What does your trigger finger look like? Are you pressing straight to the rear, or are you trying to grab it and pull it? Well, how's your support hand? Is your support hand doing the proper grip? It needs to be on there just as much as your primary grip. Because, guys, it's like electricity. It'll go to the path of least resistance. You pull that and it recoils, it's going to go where there's less support. Are you anticipating your recoil?
That's the hardest part.
Guys, you gotta get used to the bang bang. You gotta get used to that explosion. It's gonna happen, okay? That's why when we start teaching people to aim, you focus only on your front sight post. Just focus on your front sight post. Don't even look at your target. You have peripheral vision, all right? You line up with it, you see your target, you focal shift, go off your target, then look at your front sight because you can still see your target down range. And as you pull the trigger, watch your front sight post because your front sight post is going to tell you shoot or not to shoot, because anything you do outside of the realm of the fundamentals, that front sight will move. It will move. If your grip's not right, if your trigger pull's not right, anything you do, that front sight will tell you. If you don't move your front sight post, you will nail and pancake that target. Every time. Don't disturb the front sight post. My job, especially in the basic program, is you to pancake that hole when we get out there. Because guys, when I move that target back 15, 20 feet, 20 yards, you're going to be like, oh my gosh, what's going on? I kept it like this. Well, no, you're supposed to keep it like that when you're only a yard away. Because if you can keep it like that at a yard away, what do you think you're going to keep it at 20 yards down?
Like that.
You're going to keep it that right there. That's what you'll keep it. Okay? When you're out there and you're getting all frustrated because you're not hitting it, you're not pancaking it, breathe, relax, aim, and squeeze and scan. Breathe and relax is the first two. Breathe and relax. Guys, calm down. It's okay. So if you're out there and you're just like, come on! Because I'm going to do that to you. I'm going to walk up and be like, yeah, no. I'm going to be like, can I see your weapon system real quick? You'll hand it to me, and I'll just be like, let's see if it's, and it's going to hit right on the hole, and you're going to be like, shut up. And I'll be like, well, it's not your weapon system. Okay? It's going to happen. You're not going to hit it right away. Because, guys, the basic program is that you have to harmonize with the weapon system, guys. You got to know it. And the only way you're going to do is through this. All right? Now, when we look at that good-looking guy right there, and they're laughing. I was waiting for that. That was actually kind of quick. That's sad.
It is a SIG.
But you have the ready stances, guys. Interview positions is what you're going to be standing in at all time, even at your stations. Okay? The interview position is that your feet are going to be a little wider than shoulder width apart, and you're going to take your strong side. You're going to step back one. A lot of times people wear their firing systems on their right side if they're right-handed. Depends on their strong side. But you want to have that furthest away from the adversary. Okay? As you step back, you want this weapon system further away from the adversary, and your hands, if it's condition yellow, are going to be right here. Condition yellow is a kind of a scale of mental readiness when you're out and about. Condition yellow is alert but relaxed. Who knows the difference of alert and paranoid? Alert, aware, and paranoid. Aware and paranoid. Let's just go with those two. What's the difference?
Alert, you're aware of your surroundings.
What's paranoid?
Alert, you're aware of the surroundings, you're observing everything. Paranoid is thinking everything's going the wrong way.
anything.
The difference is training, guys. A lot of people are out there are paranoid. You know, or they look around or whatever, and they might see something that's not accurate. But training, you have confidence, and when that confidence, you get more alert. Okay, you're aware, but you're not paranoid. Yes, you look around. Okay, how else are you supposed to see the absence of the normal and the presence of the abnormal? You got to look around. When you get out of the vehicle, when I get out of the vehicle, of course, when you pull up to a parking space and you look out your windows, you look at your mirrors as you're getting your stuff ready. You already got a pretty good look around. You can easily look out the rear view, right? And even in executive protection work, that's just what you do. It's your job. So as you're getting out of the car, guess what? As I'm getting out, I'm looking. I stand up. I scan. I'm getting whatever I need. I scan. I close the door. Guys, you're constantly scanning. You're supposed to constantly scan. That's not paranoid. Now, if somebody barks the time, and then you get down, and, that's paranoid. All right? Now, when you're in Detroit, that might save your life. You never know. You actually get pulled over for stopping at a stop sign. The cops are like, what are you doing? Run! Don't stop! Run through the stop sign. Are you an idiot? Yeah, I'm not from around here. So condition, I'm dead serious. Condition yellow, interview position. Alert but relaxed. But keep your hands in your workspace. Keep your hands here in your workspace. This is also for weapon retention and things like that. Keeping people from grabbing your weapon system. It's also about reactionary time. Someone tries to punch you, right? It's quicker to have your hands here and get into a good position, or instead of down here, or in here. Okay? Condition yellow, alert but specific. Now you have spotted something out of the normal. So as threat increases, your hands increase altitude. So as the threat level increases, you go from a normal yellow to an orange. Bring your hands up here. I don't care if you pop your knuckles, play with your ring, whatever you want to do. But you're getting as closer to your what? Your brain. Because a lot of times what people want to do is knock you senseless where you can't think. You're disorientated. All right? Keep your hands here. Talk with your hands. Keep them in your workspace. All right? Keep them engaged. Condition red. Guys, please understand, condition red is now you're in the fight. Who watched UFC? Ultimate Fighting Championships, and stuff like that. Boxing. Okay. Their shoulders are what? The shoulders are up. Whenever they come in and they want to do something, the shoulders up to protect what? Their neck. Their jaw line. It's on arteries as well if it's a knife fight. Okay? Our condition red, guys, if we're like this and we're already here, you're in the fight now. Your shoulders not only come up, but they rock forward. They articulate. All right? Martial artists, I hate to tell you, no more blading. No more blading. The reason why I say no more blading is you're lining your lungs up for that shot. It's another reason why we always square up. It's the reason why we move here, here, and here. Guys, look, your arms are already in front of what? They're in front of your organs. But they're relatively available in a timely fashion if you have to execute. It's not coming from way back here in China, right? They're all here. They're all in line. The shoulders are already in line. So if you ever watch a boxer, whenever they hit, they what? They have that shoulder. A lot of times the shoulders are launched, and then the weapon comes out right afterwards. Your shoulders are already engaged. The reason why I'm also doing this, guys, is going to get you set up for you as the ultimate platform. Remember the neurological pathways? Muscle memory, remember that? Sights come to your eyes. All right? Eyes don't go to your sights. Raise your shoulders up. Guess what they do? They bring them right up. It's a natural intuitive response, guys, when something BAM! People do that. It's a natural intuitive response. Use it. That's your body way of telling you, hey, you're going to survive if you just listen to me. Do it. Why? Because as a shooter, when you're moving, guys, where the head goes, what? The body goes. Right? But when you do this, guess what that makes this head do? It keeps it straight. If someone grabs that AR system for me real quick, this is our condition red right here, guys.
He said quick, John.
This means we're already in the fight. All right? By all means. All right? So if we're here, guys, listen, we can talk to people like this if we need to. This is not this. All right? People are always taking what? Pictures and photos. This, okay, man, whoa, relax. But what this is doing is preparing you guys for when we start running primary and secondary weapon systems. Your body's going to be in the same configuration. So if I stand here, he should be able to put that right in the part of my hand. There you go. And guess what?
Same position.
So we're doing the same exact thing as we run our primaries. It's the same exact position. That's building your neurological pathways right out of the gate. It doesn't matter if it's empty hand. It doesn't matter if you're running primaries. It doesn't matter if you're running secondaries. Your body responds to what it's used to. But what we're doing is we're harmonizing you with your natural intuitive response. Boom! Get in the mix, get the job done. Boom! It's already there, guys. Only thing catching up is your secondary. This helps with natural zero. I can walk around the room. I've already done it many times. Come here, James.
Watch your knees, James.
Stand there for me, James. Yeah, watch your knees. You got pants on.
It won't hurt.
Okay, so what's going to happen, excuse me, is I'm going to walk around, and if I do everything right, I don't even have to use my sights. I don't have to use them. If you work on your fundamentals, stance, grip, okay, all that stuff, and then learn to get this up, because again, guys, if I punch out, where's my jaw?
Straight.
Not only straight, but what is it? It's protected. All your vitals here are also protected. So if he keeps talking, keep talking, James. Say something stupid,
Blocks are
continuous.
terrible, Baker's 376 is trash.
Okay? So that's so if you guys could just listen, orientate yourself, okay? And use your natural indexing, point shoot, okay? Watch my support hand. When I grab my firearm, of course you all know the primary, right? You got that all the way up, choke up on that grip. Don't let any space in between that and your hand. Don't let there be any space. Get it all the way choked up on that. Thing is about my support hand, this is a fist grip. Now, something about the body, it's like putting a puzzle piece together. If I just take my front fingers here and I rotate them down, this part of my hand lines perfectly up with this part of my thumb. And it actually drops in. And it actually has more contact surface coverage on that side grip panel, which gives you more control of the weapon system. If you ever watch fighters fight, they don't fight and they punch. When they punch, they don't punch like this, they punch like this. It's ergonomically efficient. That's why your pistol grips are angled like that and not straight down. So you do the same thing with your support hand. Get that hand down this way and actually learn to point with your thumb. Learn to point with your thumb. Your thumb and your index finger now are also support and sandwiching. Yeah? Get that palms together. Get the heel palms together. You have 360 degrees equal pressure and compression around that pistol grip. But now you're using your index finger and your point finger, because guys, we've been doing this ever since we were young. Hey, look at that. He looks funny.
Yeah.
All right, we've been doing that. Now you're just doing it with both. Just point at them. Okay? You won't even need your sights, guys, no longer. If you learn to also bring it up and bring it forward. As I said, he can sing me a song, James. A little chanty.
No.
Give me a chant.
I can't sing, so I'm not gonna sing.
All right? There it is. And the guys, look at that. I didn't even look at it. That's just getting yourself orientated. That's getting your shoulders locked. Thanks, James. Your singing sucks, by the way.
Well, that's why I'm on security, I'm not a singer.
Yeah, you just haven't let the praise and worship team work their magic.
Trash talk sucks too.
They can have it,
Okay,
not for me.
so there's reference points. When you guys have your earmuffs on and stuff like that, raise your shoulders up to where your shoulders touch your earmuffs. That lets you know you're at the right position. Bring your elbows in. I don't care what Krav Maga says. I don't care what the Israelis guys do with their elbows way out here and stuff like that. Get your elbows in. I'll show you with lasers later on how that stabilizes you. Okay? More points of contact. All right? So, that interview condition red is when you're ready to fight. Okay? You have to widen your stance. You got to drop your center, and you get your hands up, and orientate your arms closer to the center of your body. That is getting you set for more than just hand to hand. So this is just a basic firing stance of which we're going to be firing from. You have the isosceles stance, you have the modified Weaver stance. Or some people say it's just a modified isosceles because you still have that triangle. Here's the pinnacle. Here's the other two pinnacles. You have that triangle. All right? Questions with that? We'll see. There are different grips. There's a Weaver grip, there's a fist grip, and then there's a saucer grip. You guys seen that all the time in movies, right? You guys seen that one?
Yeah.
That's a saucer grip. Like you have a little saucer of tea. People shoot from that. It's up to you. My main, what are you laughing at? My main objective is to make you hit your target in rapid succession and accurately. If you like that grip, we'll make it work. The Weaver grip is up here. The Weaver grip was mainly done for revolvers, okay? Because a lot of times, guys, you got to get your thumb away from what?
Cylinder.
That rotating cylinder. You don't want your thumbs way out here, and it's going to interfere with that. Guys, all it takes to stop a revolver from turning, it's just two fingers. It ain't going to move. That's why they have the Weaver grip. Pull those thumbs all the way back. Get them away from that rotating cylinder. They also use that for semi-automatics. I don't care, guys. What works for you? Let's hit that target. I always promote the fist grip. And I'll show you how to tweak that later on. We already talked about that. What eye are you? What dominant eye? Right! Left? Okay. Does anyone not know their dominant eye? Okay. An easy way to check for dominance of eye. You can use this if you want to, look at a picture or whatever, where you're going to totally extend your arms out, all the way out in front of you. Make your triangle very small. Make the hole in your hands very small. Put this guy, that mug, in that circle, and then slowly bring it back to your head. When you slowly bring that back to your head, it's going to naturally go to your dominant eye. In the basic program, you got to learn to use your dominant eye. Okay? Slowly bring that back to your face, and it will show you what eye you are dominant. Okay? Okay. So there's some lefties. Left eyes, right eyes. Good. You're going to need to know that to have proper aim. In the intermediate course, guys, you're going to be shooting when the gun's in your right hand, you're going to be shooting with your right eye. And it's in your left hand, you're going to be shooting with your left eye. And it's going to suck. But you've got to learn how to use that. And it's very simple to do. You're going to have to learn and train your brain. Okay? We'll talk about retinal disparity and all that other stuff coming up soon. But guys, you can do it. And I have a drill that you guys will have to do. All right? To operate with both eyes. Okay, so what is sight alignment? You guys got your armed license, right? You guys should be rattling this off.
You line up the top of your front side with the top of your back side.
So sight alignment is,
Line in your sight.
yes.
Good job.
Come on, guys. Line your front sight with your rear sight. Okay? Remember I told you guys when you're aiming at your target, what do you want to focus on?
Front side.
Why?
See if it's moving.
You manipulate that front sight, you're going to manipulate your point of impact. Point of aim, point of impact is something you're going to learn. You manipulate that front sight. If you lose the spacing, and if you lose that flushness with the rear and the front sight, you're not going to hit that hole. You're not going to pancake it. Okay? That's sight alignment. What is sight picture?
Seeing
What
your
you're
target.
seeing around it.
It's the relation between the target and your sights. That's your sight picture. Okay? Sight picture. Your eyes can only focus on what?
One thing at a time.
One thing at a time. And what should you be focusing on before you pull the trigger?
Your side.
Which one?
The front side.
Front sight. That's what you're supposed to be focusing on. And guys, every shooter, even some of the top shooters, this is the first drill we do when we hit the range. It's the one-hole drill. It's a perishable skill, and you'll be amazed on how quick it perishes. From the time that we're going to go, and we're going to have the practical portion, when we're out there actually shooting down range, you're going to start getting it. You're going to be like, oh! And then the next time we get together, we're like, what the heck's going on with this thing? It's going to happen. Because if you don't get it out and use it, you lose it. But every time we meet, every time we go to the range, go ahead and chalk it up. We're going to have the one-hole drill. And you guys are going to give me that. Because if you give me that, you're also giving your partners and everyone else an extra chance to live. Because if you miss your target, guys, we're going to be shooting static targets at first, but I got an extending mobile targeting system that I'm going to have fun. Yeah, one of my private clients, he's in the intermediate course, and he just had that little bit of excitement. He suffered his first slide bite. Who knows what a slide bite is?
Where you get bit.
Oh, yeah, slide, had it.
A slide comes back when you pull the trigger and your support hand wasn't sat yet, and it comes back and it cuts your hand. He suffered that first time. Well, you know why? He didn't listen to me, right? And he was under stress. His job was to stay strong hand unsupported. I have my mobile training, my targeting system. And guys, I'm going to push you. I want to use that rod to move you. Because targets move. Okay? Well, what happens was I was pushing and pushing, then I just jerked the thing back, and the target came right at him. And guys, you got to learn how to shoot before count draw. You'll be shooting from this position. Boom, 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 boom. All the way out to the 4. And reverse. Boom, 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 boom. Until it's right here. Please stop pulling the trigger when you go to put it in your holster.
Medic!
You'll be amazed. You'll be amazed, because I'm like, hey, you know what? Strong hand unsupported. Keep it to your chest. So he had to walk and move and come forward and come backward, and all of a sudden I yanked that thing. I don't know what he was doing. I don't know if this was a crane thing or... Ah! But he took his hand off his chest and went for the gun to support it as he was pulling the trigger. Boom, 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 boom. Slide bit him. He said, Brian, I don't believe this. We've gone over it. We've been doing it. I said, welcome to reality. This is not target shooting. You're going to be under a lot of stress. You're not going to understand it at first. You can tell yourself all day, I got it. I know. I know. I know you know. What happened?
I don't know.
I thought you knew. Well, no, there is no sense, guys. It depends on how much time you put in repetition, repetition, repetition. Interview positions, consistency holds the key to success. That's it. I'm really glad to see all your faces here too, because you guys are taking that step. You're taking that initiative. Okay? It's more than hunter safety. It's more than just law enforcement. It's more than just military. It's more than just how much have you put in? What are you going to result to when stuff hits the fan? And I'm going to tell you what you are going to resort to. I'm going to tell you right now. How much time do you go out and shoot?
Not enough. 2 or 3 times a month.
All right, I'm not going over your house. Seriously, guys, when was the last time you hit a heavy bag in where you ran out of breath? When was the last time? When was the last time you guys ground fought? When was the last time you guys stopped bleeding somebody who was hemorrhaging out? When was the last time you were involved in any crises? That's why we're here. That's why we're here. Do you guys understand the importance of interaction and feedback? Guys, as I said, yes, I'm up here. I'm the clown in front of the giving you the show. I don't know it all. Guys, it's going to be amazing how much I learned from you guys. That's one thing I love about doing this. You want to learn something good? Teach it. That's one great way to learn. All right, I have some professionals here who are in the law enforcement. I'm looking forward to also learning a lot from them. Because why? Everybody has experiences. Who's helped as a first responder to an automotive accident? All right. Who has helped with a domestic violence issue you had to intervene with? Who's helped with a home break-in that you had to intervene with? Guys, this is something that is going to help you when it comes to interaction and feedback, intelligence. Okay? So we know what the sight picture is. There it is. Some of your all's weapon systems you can hold at the 6 o'clock position and hit bullseye. Some of them you have to actually hold it on bullseye to hit. So first few rounds that we shoot down range, you're going to have to get to know where point of impact is. Point of aim, point of impact. You got to learn that right out of the gate. If you hold that front sight true, and not close your eyes, and all of a sudden it's down and to the left. Why'd that happen? Well, did you have your eyes open? You hit my target, by the way. Would you stay in your lane? I sneeze! Guys, listen, I've taught classes to where the lady, this one lady I was teaching, her sweat was running from her hands.
Oh my goodness.
I've never seen that. I was like, go ahead and put that on safe for me, and I want to relieve you of your weapon system just real quick, and we're going to have a talk. Please understand, this is only going to do what you want it to do. The gun's not going to jump up and turn around and point at you and go bang. It's going to do exactly just like your automobile. Get in it, turn the key, go down the road. If you want to go left, don't turn right. All right? Don't do that. It's going to do what it's supposed to do. We talked a little bit more, she got it. And that faucet turned off. It was just amazing. It plays on the psyche pretty good if you don't spend enough time behind it. So point of aim, point of impact. We'll learn right out of the gate, as long as you don't just disrupt that front sight post, where the point of aim and point of impact is. And then once you learn that, stay consistent with it. Do not disrupt that front sight post. You will pancake your hole. Okay? You will. Guys, we're only going to be this far from the target. As far as we're going to be. That's it. That's how close that paper is going to be. But don't think, hey, I'm all that when you're a yard, because you're going to find out it's going to take a lot for you guys to calibrate in to where you do pancake that hole. Because you're going to be shooting this. But remember, this at 20, okay? Pancake the hole. One hole drill. You'll love it. All right? No one holds their weapon perfectly still. You breathe, you hold your breath, but there's also a heartbeat, pulse, and stuff like that. Okay? That sometimes disrupts your aim. This is what you want, guys. Watch your front sight post. Do not let it go off. Okay? I'll talk about natural respiratory pause and things like that, but we're not going to get into long-range target acquisition until later. Okay? Retinal disparity. This is going to be hard to understand at first. But guys, I don't expect you guys to remember all this tonight. Retinal disparity. Well, one way to do this is to look at the actual figure. If you look at the target and not at your weapon system, you're going to see one target, two weapon systems in front of you due to retinal disparity. Because your eyes are not in line, your eyes are offset. Right? And in combat assist situations, you want both eyes to be open. You close one eye, you just lost half of your radar. Okay? So if you put your finger out in front of you, and you look at me, go ahead and put your fingers out. Put your finger out. Look at me. You see two fingers, right?
Yes.
look at me.
Yes.
That's retinal disparity. Okay?
Finger, you got
So
two.
what I have is I'm looking at you guys, I see two. So what you take is you still look at me, you're going to have a shadow over here, and you're going to have the true finger right here. So the finger that is closest to your body center, right? Not the one furthest out, but the one closest in, that is your true sight. So to test this, you're going to look at me, have the front finger in front of you, and you're going to close your weak eye, right? Just wink it. That shadow will disappear.
Sure did.
That one finger will stay under your dominant eye. Alright, so occasionally you want to check that. Because guys, please train your brain to do this, because when we get in the intermediate course, you will be shooting from your left hand, and you will be shooting with your left eye. You don't know what might get in, one reason why you have to, but the whole question is if you had to, could you? The answer is going to be yeah. It doesn't matter if we're left or right handed, dominant eye or not. We're going to be just as accurate. Okay? That's retinal disparity, guys. So when you go to your weak eye, let's say you pull your left hand up, you want to see those two fingers, and a lot of times, guys, it's going to float to your dominant eye. You can't let that happen. So occasionally you have to wink your strong eye now, and to make sure that the shadow disappears, and now it's in front of your weak eye. You have to do this. Do it with your weapon systems. When you're at the house, look in the mirror. You're the target. You can actually move and rotate your rear sights, and you'll see that the front sight doesn't move. So if I look at James and I have my dominant eye, right? That's how we start. But then I want to use my weak eye. What moves is the rear sight, not the front sight. The front sight, the muzzle, stays orientated where? That's right. So I want to aim at him. I'm just going to move my rear sight. All right, there's my dominant eye. There's my weak eye. There's my dominant eye. There's my weak eye. But you keep it always orientated muzzle at the target. You guys are going to have to learn to shoot, transition, shoot, and shoot. Both eyes open. Okay? Retinal disparity. Get to know it. It's going to help you when we get into shooting left hand and right hand. Focal shifting. Focal shifting is something that's hard for some people to do. It causes headaches. Okay? When you focus on a target, you look at your front sight post, you look at your target, you look at the front sight post. You're constantly going back and forth. Some people can't do that. But that's what focal shifting is. Some of your special operators, when they go in, they have to identify the target first, then quickly go to the front sight, take their shot. And these guys can do it really quick. Because it's not always about killing the adversary, it's about information gathering. Believe it or not, they don't always bust in and blow the doors down and kill everybody inside. They need intel. So that focal shifting, identify the target. If you see the threat, take the shot. But that's another thing, guys. Guys, there's so much into the aiming aspect of your weapon systems. It's not just focusing on the front sight. It's not just retinal disparity. It's not just focal shifting. It's natural zero. It's point of aim. It's are you using all your mechanical indexing? Are your reference points? Are your shoulders up? Are you orientated right? Or is your combat glove? So when you step off this thing here, the muzzle rarely ever moves. Everything revolves around your shot. When to shoot, when not to shoot. Okay? Any questions? I'm sure there's a lot, but again, don't worry, you'll have this stuff available to you. Jason, if you want to give them my number, give them all my number. I don't care. Call me. We'll talk it further. All right? I'll be available to you. I mean, I'm coming out here from Sevierville. I do care about you guys. You'll have my number. You have my email address. If you don't have it, get it. Call me. Contact me with whatever you have. I'll help you out. Breath control. Minimize body movement. Your breath should be held while firing. Now again, this is basic. I can still pancake a hole while I breathe. Believe it or not. You can do it, but you have to harmonize with your weapon system. You got to know the characteristics of it. But until then, hold your breath. When you relax, what do? Right? That's your natural respiratory pause. When you breathe out, that split second before you breathe back in is natural respiratory pause. That's when snipers take their shot. If you have multiple targets, hold your breath, keep breathing, hold, breathe, hold. You can learn how to do that. Or, and you will, if you stick with it, we'll run the dynamic course and you'll be running, walking, breathing, still hitting your target. Have faith. Before each shot, take a breath, let it out far away, hold it while firing. Don't hold it to where you start to shake, guys. Body needs oxygen. Just letting you know. Needs oxygen. Another important one, guys, trigger squeeze. Trigger squeeze. Where do you hold the trigger when you shoot? Hold it up. I can't see down there. Get up here. He's pointing a gun at me. Okay. So it's halfway, what, between the tip of your finger and the first knuckle. Okay? How do you squeeze? It's okay. I'm just going to watch you pull the trigger. Okay, good. All right, good. Guys, I don't want to see too much finger on it. I don't want to see that. And when you pull the trigger, I don't want you to squeeze this way. I want you guys to go straight back to the rear. Straight to the rear. Okay? You go straight to the rear. Yes, beautiful. Okay? Straight to the rear. You guys can just pass it on. Whenever you're done, just rack it for them. One thing I love about revolvers is they're when it's in single action, they're really hairy. You just think about pulling the trigger and it's gone. Okay? So put that in single action and position your trigger finger where it's supposed to be and go straight to the rear. Okay? Just go straight to the rear. So each shot should what? Come as a surprise. Let it come as a surprise to you. Sometimes it does, and actually you'll find you're an accurate shot when you're surprised because you weren't anticipating. You just pulled the trigger and it actually happened. Do not, again, guys, I keep saying that, do not disrupt the front sight post. Make sure you have the proper sight alignment. Follow through is the continuation of your fundamentals. Every time you pull the trigger, you want to have stance. What's the next one?
Grip.
Because you got what? You got to get it, right? All right, now what?
Aim.
Good. What else?
Spray.
Control.
Squeeze.
All right? Follow through is now continue on with those same things. Guys, do this with your dry fire. Don't dry fire your 22 if you have a 22. But everything else, if it's a center fire, right? Just dry fire. In double action. Where you have the good 12, 14 pounds of pull. But do not move that front sight post as you slowly let the hammer come back. That's one of the great ways of learning to keep your front sight from moving. Okay? If you can see the hammer, right? If I look at that, I want to look at it and I want to point. Every time, guys, when you're doing this, get your shoulders up. I don't want to see this stuff. Do something that actually, every time you get to it, it becomes muscle memory. So I'm going to look that front side post. I'm going to make sure I'm not disturbed that front side post until that hammer, whenever it wants to. That's what you have to do. Okay? Do not disrupt the front side. Try to acquire consistency in your stance, grip, aim, breath control, and trigger squeeze. The way to natural zero. That's the way to natural zero. All right. Who has their holsters? Everyone has their weapon systems? Everyone stand up. Sorry it took so long. Lectures are, well, lectures. The 4-count draw, everybody. Welcome to the 4-count draw. Presenting your weapon systems. Okay? If you conceal carry, your shirts are out, right? how do you get to your weapon systems, making sure your garment doesn't interfere with the transition period? What's that? Some people use the thumb. All right? I was all sharp and stuff. Now I gotta get all. Yeah!
Slouch it.
Have rubbing
That's gonna fall. All right, so, yeah, that's gonna help. Look how tight that shirt is. All right, so, one of the things is, guys, they hook it. Well, some people pull the front part of their shirt up and they hook it. Okay? Look where my support hand is. Where's my support hand?
Here.
Is it over here? Is it over here? Is it down here? No. It is right here. It's in the center. All right? As my hand goes where? My firing hand goes to the weapon systems and takes off the. And do you think I'm going to have to use this hand to defend this guy off with my muzzle orientated in the same? No. You're going to flag yourself. You're going to shoot yourself. There's a reason why. There's a reason why we have every step. Because reactionary gap in time, I'm going to come from here. I'm not even going to have a chance to get to my weapon system. I'm not going to have a chance. It's that quick. And he's being nice. No, seriously. When stress inoculation comes at you, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to show you the knife. I'm going to be like, hey, buddy, so this is what I got. I want to cut your throat with it. Are you all right? And this is what we're going to do. I'm going to be sitting here. You ready? You ready? Here, come on. I'm going to cut your throat. Because you know what my hand's doing? I'm going to go after his weapon system. Hold on, brother. I'm going to go after his weapon system with my dead hand. That's what this hand's called. It's a dead hand. This is the hand that's going to get cut, shot, bruised. You know why? It's going right to where his weapon system is. So he doesn't shoot me, I get to shoot him. Do you get it? A lot of law enforcement go for the weapon system this way. Their hand floats to it. Okay? Knife fighters don't do that. Knife fighters keep their hands close to their center. Why? Time. Quickly. Yes, they can move. Let the weapon system come to your center hand. Let it come to it. Because if it's here, you better feel the magazine and you better feel your pinky on your rib cage. And you better watch the orientation of the muzzle. Because you're fighting for your life here. And you don't want to shoot what? You become a turret right here. This is static against my chest or against my rib cage. It is not moving once it's touched here. Why? Because if he comes in and grabs me, whatever, it doesn't matter. Look at the muzzle. Look, if I accidentally discharge because I'm frightened, pop. Guess what? Is my leg shot? Is my hand shot? Is his hand shot? No. These do become nice blunt force weapons if you have to use them. Guys, this is not just target shooting. This is life or death. The fork out draw holds specific things for specific reasons. Get your grip before it deploys. When it deploys, your muzzle needs to be orientated immediately toward the threat. Cant the weapon system out. Don't hold it close. Cant it out. This hand needs to stay here just in case you have to engage somebody coming over here as a target of opportunity. All right, you have to shift. If your hands are down here, you have to move, get it close to you. But if your hand's out, this better be at the number 2. As soon as it moves from number 2, get that hand back in, because you're going live, and it's that close. Hey, guys, I'm telling you, you're going to be amazed. Number 3 position. I have it all the way to my chest, guys. My wrists are right under my pec muscles. My elbows are in. My thumb is now pointing where my index is also pointing. Guys, you want to make a natural T. The reason why my thumb is on this side pushing, because you have natural ergonomic pressure with this hand kind of canting it over. So with my support hand, that thumb helps what? Puts it back on line. Puts it back on center. This helps with natural zero. Natural zero is I can hit you from here. I can hit you from here. I can hit you from here. I don't need to worry about sight picture. As long as it is what? Calibrated as a T to my chest. I know I have you. I don't need that. I don't need it. Stay tight. We have the saying, look left, look right, stay tight. If you have loose equipment, you'll snag on something. Okay? If you're all loose and everything, and you're trying to pie around a corner, then you guess what's going to flag? I guarantee you, he sees me before I see him. Guess what's going to get shot?
Yeah, boy.
Well, at least you, because now he knows where you're at. The OODA loop, remember? Observation, orientation, decision, and action, right? Take this instance right here. I don't see him, but he sees me. He's already observed. He's already orientated. He's already decided. What have I got? Nothing. Guess what I got to do? Play catch-up. And I tell you what, on supersonic projectiles, it's a bad place to be to play catch-up. 4-count draw. Know it. Deploying it as well as bringing it back to the holster. Okay? 1, 2, get that retainer off. 3, 4, get your shoulders up. You're in a fight. You're in a fight. Act like it. Unless you're some Irish pub. Right? Get your shoulders up. Defend yourself. This is not a game. Now, from 4, go back to 3, go back to 2. Your shoulders are still where? Up. And then get it back into your weapon system or your holster. Look at it if you have to. I don't care. Okay? Look at it. I don't care. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4, 3, 2, 1. Every time we're on out there on the range. Because you're having an idea of where your muzzle is orientated, yeah? That's what the whole point is. Everyone understand? Let's work on the 4-count draw, guys. 4-count draw. You can do it where you stand, spread out if you want. We're just going to walk around. And we're going to help you out to it. All right? So you guys got to look at equipment placement. Where on your persons is it best for the most efficiency? I actually wear mine a lot of times appendix right here. Mine's holstered right here appendix because where's my hands at? My hands are always there. For weapon retention wise, if I'm in the car, guess where my gun is? It's right there. If I fall down, guess what? If I fall on my stomach, guess what? It's protected. It's against the ground. If I fall on my back, guess what? I can get to it. So guys, you got to think of where you're going to place it. All right. Every time you pull the trigger, there's a thing called a firing cycle. What is a firing cycle? What is a firing cycle?
It's a sequence the gun goes through.
Good job.
I love this guy. He's a good guy. Forget about it. So, the first thing it has to do is feed it. When you put the magazine, not a clip, when you put a magazine into the mag well, and you hit the slide release, or you power stroke it, right? It's going to what? Feed it. It's going to feed it into the chamber. Next is called what? Chambering. So it feeds, it chambers, then what does it have to do? Lock it in. Okay? What do you do after it locks in? Fire. Pull that trigger. Fire it. After that, it has to what? Unlock it. And reverse. Then it has to what? Extract that casing out of the chamber. Once it's extracted, it has to go somewhere, so it has to eject it, and then at the same time, it's recocking to refeed. If something interrupts this cycle, it will not fire. Very important to know when it comes to hand-to-hand tactics. James, actually no, let me borrow Eric. Okay, please understand something. Everything works, right? If it's a little bit out of battery, like we were talking about the 4-count draw, when it's in number 2, your garment can get caught in it, right? It ain't gonna work. All right? So, one thing about, come up here, well, one thing about defensive tactics and drills is, first off, before you go ahead and point it at me, Mama didn't teach you right. But, number one thing is that you have to do what's called a preparatory action. You just can't, it's like, who's done Hapkido, or wrist locks, or Aikido, or anything like that where you do joint locks, okay? You just can't walk up to somebody without them being distracted and try to do some type of wrist lock, because you know what they're going to do? They're going to stiffen up and they're not going to allow you, okay? So, one of the things you have to do is, hey, look, a distraction.
Ew.
Yeah.
Whack.
Not the eye thing, please.
Okay.
There we go.
Yeah. So one of the first things is you have to create a distraction. And the basic fundamentals of defensive tactics and drills for defense is you blade, evade, deflect, and block. It all kind of rhymes. Blade, evade, deflect, and block. Okay? You blade, by blading means you're going to what? Matrix. You're going to matrix the thing.
Yep.
All right? This is blading. That's one of the steps of defense. Then evading is when you step on a compass that we call a combat compass. Not only do you blade, but you evade. See how much more I got out of the line of the attack? This I'm out of the line, yeah, a little bit, but when I step, I'm even further out. Right? Blade, evade. Next is deflect. Remember your dead hand. Number 2 position?
Yep.
Guess what that hand's supposed to be doing? Deflecting. So you have blade, evade, and deflect, right? Then the next, of course, if necessary, you block and you seize and control. But the thing is that before you even do any of this, you need to get his mind off of hurting you.
Right.
On to something else that we like to make him focus on, which is pain. What was that? Something bit me. Okay, so he's here. Blade, evade, deflect, and block. But at the same time, you're doing this, but you're also bringing it here.
Sweet.
Where's your power at? Where's the power?
Right there.
It's on you. It's centered. Is there power here?
No.
No, it's a struggle. Guys, you're going to have to fight every ounce of your being, because every ounce of your being is like, ah! That's what it wants to do. But intuitive response, you have to train a new intuitive response, is that you made a big mistake. What's quicker, action or reaction? Action. So we're here. Guess what I'm going to do? Pop! Hit him with it! If he doesn't want to let go, help him be compliant. Pop! Strip it. But guys, when you guys obtain the weapon system, please power stroke it. See what I just did? Because the idiot might not have put one in the chamber.
But now there is.
And keep it where?
Pointed at him.
Get it close to you. Weapon retention. Because guys, just like in the number 2 or even number 3 position, if he comes in and grabs my weapon system, I can still orientate. I can still drive it. Do you understand?
Yes.
I'm still driving that thing. So that part of the firing cycle is when he's up here, if you can, guys, but if you cannot get that slide back,
Take that battery.
just squeeze it. I've done it with my HK, I've done it with other semi-automatics. I'm out on the range, I squeeze the barrel, pull the trigger, it shoots, but it doesn't rechamber. It can't extract it. It can't go through the firing cycle. That means the guy's going to have to strip it away from me, re-rack it, and then get back engaged. You know how much you can do to somebody that quick? Blade, evade, deflect. Bam! Guess what? Make sure your wife isn't standing on this side. Well, and you're... Wow! Look at that look. Make sure your husband's standing on that side. Okay? Amen. I got some women going, praise him. So the thing is, guys, look. Also have your atmospherics up to par. Make sure someone is not standing to the left or right if you do this. Oh, sorry, man. It's just not your day. Wasn't me. All right? Think about it. There's different ways to deflect weapon systems. All right? You see this? Yeah. Pop! Whoa, give me that. Whatever it takes, guys, fight the fight. And once you're in it, do it with full resolve. This is your life. This is your brothers and sisters' lives inside your congregation. Brutality is a part of warriorship. but so is sensitivity and understanding. Know what side of the coin, and train both sides of the coin. Sincerity and understanding, but also complete brutality. Okay? Ask King David.
What's wrong?
Ask him. His story's all in the Bible. Read it. God says there is what? A time and a place for everything. And the beautiful thing is, thanks, brother. The beautiful thing is that He knows the intentions of your heart. That's something else that we talked about, the psychological and the spiritual aspect of warriorship. Even when you question yourself, God knows you better than you. How do you know Him? How close you are to Him, that's a different story. And that's something that is necessary for you to understand as well. Let me see if I can get this thing going. You gonna play for me? I know you want to play. Oh, Jason. Normally, my computer has a play symbol, where I can hit play. I don't know about yours. That's gonna take the whole thing. Oh, you just messed it up.
That's why we can't have nice things.
All right. Well, normally I would have a video showing you guys the cutout and everything else of a semi-automatic pistol, but this nice piece of equipment is working with us. The other one worked. All right, I can't stay here too long for it. I don't know what I did last time.
I don't know either.
Okay, malfunctioning of your weapon system. We just talked about the firing cycle, right? Okay, so what I want to do is I need to get you guys back up. I have some 9mm not blanks, but dummy rounds. And I want us to get into a few lines here, a couple of teams, and we're going to work on some malfunctions and stoppages as a team. How much do we have here tonight, Jace? Oh, I'm glad you said it. Fills my heart with joy. How many people we have here tonight? 35. Okay, let's try to break it up into different groups. I need a group in each section, but let's try to make it an even number. Then we'll break off and we'll get you guys up and work on some malfunctions and stoppages. So look at yourself, put yourself in some position, and we'll work with that. Jason, I need your help. Brian, I need your help.
We got 5.
I'll need your help too, if you don't mind.
Yeah, no. That's my buddy, scared the crap out of him.
I've got
Scared the crap out of
yeah, good.
5 hours, 5 hours, 10 hours total for basic training, 2 5 hours.
I ain't heard the rest of it. Who you both work with?
All right,
Perception of reality.
do you have any snap caps? Thanks. Back online, okay, and defend yourself. So what we have, I'm going to go ahead and manipulate your weapon systems. If you wouldn't mind, have yours first.
It's 45.
What's that?
45.
45? Oh, well, it doesn't matter. I'm going to put it into a position where it's just failure to extract. Small little bullet. Did I say that? Supposed to correct?
You can't space say
Cartridge.
ammo,
Cartridge.
not bullet.
Okay.
Cartridge or ammo.
So what is this? Stovepipe, which is a failure to eject.
Sorry.
Exactly right. So how would we fix a stovepipe? Guys, go ahead and clear him a little bit. Although we do point weapon systems at each other here, but sometimes it's nice to just not to, unless it's the drill says so. Yeah, exactly right. training scars. So when you're at the number 4 position, okay, you're already extended out with both hands. First thing, when your weapon system goes down, you have to what? Assess. Look and assess. Why did it go down? Now, are you going to do this out in the open? Give me a sec. No, get behind cover. All right, if something goes wrong, move. Go back to the 3 position too. Just don't go, ah, and run. Get it back, conceal it, weapon retention, because you don't know if another adversary is right here to come to get your weapon. You don't, because a lot of people target fixate. All right? So when you're out and about, boom, goes down, you better get behind cover as soon as you can. Okay? Once you're behind cover, you look and assess. So what we got is a stovepipe. What do you think you do for a stovepipe?
Rack it.
All right. Tap, rack, and roll it. Because you also want to use, he did everything correctly. So when this thing is stovepipe and that thing is back in, if you wouldn't mind, put it back in there. Right between your legs, there you go.
This one takes a little bit more time.
Okay, so we pull back off the chute, it goes down, move to cover, as quick as you can, look and assess, it's stovepipe. There's a thing called tap, rack, and roll, because it could have stovepipe because you didn't seat your magazine in all the way, so it couldn't feed one back in the chamber correctly. So you're going to tap, rack, and roll. Because what that does is if it's a failure, use gravity to help. All right, tap, rack, and roll, and now you can look and assess even here because I'm behind cover, right? Look how tight my elbow is, guys.
Yeah.
Even while I'm doing this, I'm not going.
Not chicken wing.
All right, keep it tight. Look, assess, then get back online, and then come back out. Why do we square out? Why do we square to our targets?
That way you keep your shot both lungs.
That's exactly the point. Guys, so many people want to do this John Wick stuff. A bullet will go through and take both lungs out. Keep yourself squared so you have a fighting chance.
If there's not a chance for you to get covered anywhere, if you're in a kind of an open area, where do you want, what position do you want to be in? Do you want to be extended still? Like if you're looking here, do you want to go ahead and do it there or just keep, where do you want to be at?
A lot of times under stress, they don't even assess. As I said, you're going to be your worst enemy under stress. So the best thing is, guys, a static target's a dead target. Move. So if it goes down, zigzag. I don't give a squat. Get back up on line, but you got to know your atmospherics and your environmental knowledge too, right?
Yeah.
It's not going to help the situation. All right? Even if you have to get behind something, because sometimes the people are so distracted that who knows the difference between cover and concealment? Concealment conceals you from the adversary, but it doesn't stop the projectiles. Cover stops the projectiles. So even the concealment still works if the adversary doesn't see you because you don't exist. Okay? So yeah, static target is a dead target. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this, we're going to go to each individual, and we're going to do the same thing. Okay? We're going to put it back into failure to extract. Everyone back up. We have a stovepipe, right? We're out, bump, 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 bump. You look in, you engage. He says, do you just quickly do it? Right? Do you quickly just, whoop? Well, if I'm shooting James, and I'm James, and I just stand there and do this real quick, am I a static target?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. So you have to be here, boom, 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 but you see that, get off the line. Get off the line, step off the edge, move. Because again, they have to orientate. They have to follow you, they have to track you. That's time. Time is life. Get off the tracks, get your weapon system back on. When we first get out here on the basic, guys, we're going to do it standing still. You're not ready to move and do all this yet. Okay? We got to do it standing still to understand the functions before we start adding more issues. Okay? But right now, yes, tap, rack, and roll. Tap, rack, and roll. Completely back. You need to just get rid of that magazine and you get another one back in. So as soon as you look and you see it's empty, you need to go ahead and get it back into your magazine here. But guess what? If you do this and it doesn't come out, let's say there's sand or grit that's stopping that from coming out, get back online. That's why, again, you work in your workspace. Okay? So that was a speed reload. Okay? Attack reload is that if things are going on and you have a space and you want to make sure your mag, get a full mag back inside your firearm. Okay, you don't want to have a half a mag if you can put a full mag in, right? So attack reload is you bump up, it kind of stops, you get in behind cover or concealment, you get this up here, and this goes back into your mag pouch, okay? And then you get back online. That's another reason why we have to do single hand unsupported shooting, because this one might, and we're not gonna have a dump pouch. A lot of military people have dump pouches, just jump it in there. But when you have the attack reload, pop, 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 you get this out, you get this back up online, and then this one here goes back into your furthest one away from you, not the one closest. The one closest needs to be the fullest, because that's the one you pull from all the time. So now this is full, you're ready to go back in and do whatever's necessary. Okay? So speed and tactical reloads. So even on these malfunctions, if it's a failure to feed or failure to extract, and you have that, and you have to tap, rack, and roll, you tap, rack, and roll, and you get back. But always assess by moving those rear sights down and over so you can see where the extractor port is, or the ejector port. Okay? Look down there. And this gives you the inertia to get that out, to get back online, to get back into the fight. Okay? And sometimes you hit your partner, he'll get over it, as long as everyone's alive. I'd rather be hit by a mag than hit by a super top projectile.
Yeah. I'm just gonna reach your mind and let you clear. All right. Ready? Get back online. Clear that one.
Are you kidding me?
I want to get fair fight to get out. You won't come out.
Holy smokes!
Jammed it reverse.
Yeah, give me a.
Oh, it's over in on it.
Yeah, well, how the? Your stunned silence never ceases to amaze me.
That's right, means it didn't come out of the chamber.
That's right. It did not come out. Maybe because of a loose grip, maybe because you didn't have your magazine sat all the way in and wasn't able to feed another one into the chamber. Guys, tap, rack, and roll. Like stop, drop, and roll if you're on fire. Okay? Again, we're going to do this stationary first. You look and assess. You guys, you have to tap it, make sure it's sat, and rack it this way, knuckles down. Okay? Don't try to turn it this way. Tap, rack, and get it over. Get it over. And look how compact I am. Keep the weapon system, thank you so much. Keep the weapon system in your workspace. Anytime something malfunctions or stops, guys, first off, don't look down. Don't look down and don't hand it to them. Don't, you might joke, but it happens. Okay? You keep it in your workspace. Here, shoot, tap it. It's here, right? This is also called an admit reload position. Did you hear what I said?
Yeah.
Admit reload position. This is when we're out on the range and we're just about to load and make ready. Okay? I never want you guys anymore looking down at your weapon systems doing this. No more. Okay? When you pull your weapon system out, you bring it up into your workspace, you look at the mag well, right? This is the admit reload position. It's up in your workspace. I can see every one of you, and I can see where my mag well is. Okay? Plus, it's also a good defensive position. If you're reloading and someone comes to tackle you from the side, guess what you're going to be if you're in a fight anyway? All right? There's that muscle memory again. Get it up. It can also be a block, cover, hit. Use it as a blunt force weapon if need be, okay? Admit reload position. Get it up in your workspace. Load it up. All right? Rack it in your workspace. Head up. Rack it. Go back to the low ready compressed or put it back in your holster and start the drill. Okay? That's the admit reload position. But right now, we had that thing hanging out, right? Pop, 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 look and assess. Don't always allow gravity to do the job for you. Sometimes I've had grit and dirt get on my magazines and stuff because of the elements and it wouldn't come out. Okay? When you look and assess, that gives you extra torque and physics to get that thing out. Okay? This is a speed reload. It's because you went dry. All right? Slide, locks back. You look and assess, get this thing out, get this thing back. Now look how ergonomically it is. It's ergonomically because when you bring the hands together, like reading a book, your palms are here. It's ergonomic. Back online. Okay? I don't care if you use your slide release or you power stroke to get back online. It's totally up to you. That is called a speed reload. That is the, oh my gosh, I'm out of ammo load. Tactical reload is if you're behind, again, guys, when do we reload our weapons? When you're behind cover or concealment. Okay? if you're in an engagement, don't just stand there out in the middle. All right? A static target is a dead target. You got to move. If there's no cover, guys, we will be moving as we get this stuff going. Okay? We will be moving. But you got to get used to having things where? In your workspace. Operate in your workspace. Okay? So we had a failure to extract, right? That's tap, rack, and roll. We had a double feed. What was a double feed?
Failure to extract.
It was failure to extract out of the chamber and then tried to feed another one. Okay? So you have it double stacked. Okay? Yep, there's the evidence I had Jolly Ranchers. Okay, so I want to put one in here, one in my chamber. Right? Who said maybe? That one's not good enough for that one. I got one. There we go. Okay, so
Put a Jolly Rancher in there.
I love my Jolly Ranchers. Okay, double feed. One didn't get pulled out of the chamber. One tried to feed. Okay, so that's what a double feed looks like. Okay. Okay, that's what a double feed looks like. These suck because you have to yank that magazine out. It's not just going to easily slide out. There's a bind. It's stopping that from coming out easily. So, guys, if you pull your other magazine out thinking it's going to be easy to get it out, well, you try to jerk it. Oh, there it came. But sometimes you can even use your other magazine to strip it. Rack, 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 get it back online, get back in the fight. Okay? You have to strip that magazine out. Rack it a few times. Get those cartridges out. Put the same or a new magazine in, rack, and get back to business. Okay? That's called a double feed. You have to force that magazine out. Rack, 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 get back online. So, what we're going to do, we're going to have a little fun here, is remember at the beginning of this I also told you time is life, right? Reactionary gap in time. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have you guys go head to head. I'm going to have you close your eyes. I'm going to malfunction your weapon system. And when I say go, you have to look, assess, and clear your weapon system, get it back online, and whoever comes back online first is most likely going to survive the incident. So remember, observation, orientation, decision, and action. I need 2 people up front. This is graduation time. Life's on the line. I don't know what stance you're in. Come on, man. You're in a fight. Come on. Just foot back. Get that foot back. All right, here comes the weight. All right, lean in. There you go. Ready? 3, 2, 1, go! Look, you can look at it. You have to look and assess. Look and assess.
I am too.
All right. What? You taught him that, man. I'm just kidding. He's like, oh no. Okay. So guys, remember when I say go, open, you have to what? Observe. Observation, orientation, decide, and act, right? You have to look and observe, see what's the problem. You got to know the problem before you can fix the problem, right?
Keep your eyes closed.
I said, when I say go, open your eyes, assess, observe, orientate, decide, and act. Did I not? Did I say open your eyes?
Yes.
Yeah. Someone's not listening.
All I heard was keep your eyes closed.
All right, keep your eyes closed for right now. Go ahead and close your eyes. Yep, you want to do it again. I was not happy. Not happy. All right, good. We're in agreement. Now understand that when I say go, what does that mean?
Open your eyes.
He's still not listening.
I'm the last person he needs to hear. They don't hear a thing I say.
Well, we can sympathize with you now. So.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
Absolutely. my number, he has it, just call me whenever, you know. Just explode, I'd rather you do it on me than
Hey,
them.
my clients don't talk back.
That's what
All right.
I.
Go ahead and close your eyes. All right, number 4 position. Look and assess when I say go. Look, assess, and take care of the problem. Close your eyes.
Don't look
I'm
at
cheating already.
I was waiting.
Yeah, let me see what you're doing there. By God, that's what I want to do.
It's blindfolded in here.
Yeah, that's right. Number 4 position. In 3, when I say go.
Open your eyes.
3, 2, 1, go!
No, it's empty. It won't
Okay,
back with it.
so, corrections. I'm not going to be the one to correct him. What can he do better his performance?
Keep gun in the workspace.
Keep the gun in the workspace. That's one thing I saw. He was down here, right? You cannot keep track.
Look at what's going on.
Okay. What else?
Keep your gun in your strong hand. Don't put your gun in your weak hand.
There you go.
Fix a malfunction.
Guys, very good. That's a great point. Never relieve your firing grip. Don't relieve it unless the totality of circumstances dictate. Like, oh my gosh, ow, that hurt. Now it's time to go this way. Okay? Once this weapon system's out and about, you never relieve your weapon. You never relieve that firing grip. That should never change. This should never change. Pop, 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 even if you have to look and assess. Except for, guys, when you, like my HK has a paddle release for the magazine. I don't have to relieve my firing grip. I just hit that paddle and it comes out. But some of these guys, you have to relieve your grip a little bit to get to that mag release, right? That's the only time you pretty much fully relieve your firing grip is to get that out, okay? But other than that, good observation. Never release that firing grip, okay? All right, good. So keep it in your workspace. Workspace, you get to see down range, you know what's all going on, and work your weapon system up here. What about Cool J?
Open your eyes.
Open your eyes.
We're in charge. Assess the weapon, look at the weapon. I've been waiting. I did.
He did.
I
But
did.
the only thing is that I saw this. I saw it come back down here. Even if he's looking up this way, you still have to keep up the fight. Okay? Again, keep on guard. Another reason why we're here, if someone comes in to try to put, there you go. It's already up and in position. Just block him and hit him with that thing and get that spacing, get that reactionary gap and extend it. All right, good job, guys. 2 more. Thank you, guys. Just keep it extended, do it. Okay. That's what I'm about to do right now. Do not open your eyes yet. Your weapon system. That's what happens when you dislocate the pinky. Yeah, but, that's all I need. Position. All right, gentlemen, on my go, you guys look at your weapon systems and take care of the malfunction. On my go, 3, 2, 1, go.
This bullet's too big for my gun.
That could be a problem.
It's the wrong ammo.
Told you, okay?
Excuses.
All right. And get your screwdriver. All right, so there you go. set him up for failure, and he did a very good job. Give him a hand. 3, 2, 1, go. Look and assess. I got your back, buddy.
How did you cram that in there? That's what I wanna know.
I didn't actually. That was just a stovepipe.
Was it?
Yep. Both of you guys wore a stovepipe. So all it was tap, rack, and roll. Okay? Again, time is life. Always look and assess, tap, rack, and roll. If you see that stovepipe, tap, rack, and roll.
Should have the bag out.
All right, let's do it again.
So I'm hoping you have the name.
You guys are going to know what it is now. Sorry, everyone else who went before them.
We still got our eyes closed?
Nope. Oh man, Brian, why'd you do that to them and not me? All right, here we go. Number 4 position. When I say go, guys, see who's going to be left standing. Go! Oh, that simple little bit, guys. That's all it takes. Is that one little second. That's it. Okay? All right. Thanks, gentlemen. Anyone else want to try?
Ken, Jackie?
Right here.
You ready? 3, 2, 1, go! Okay. Good. Okay, good. Let's try it again. This time I'm going to go to the magazine. It's okay, guys, if your slide is back, because we understand that if it was a full mag, it would already go forward, right? Power stroke. Tap, rack, and roll. Tap, rack, and roll. That's all I want to see. Tap, rack, and roll. Tap, rack, and roll. Sounds simple, right? All right, shooters ready? Go! Okay. What do you guys think? Yeah. Okay, let's do it again. Now, good to get a mag pouch, guys, if you find one. Don't worry about reloading your magazines. Okay? Because what happens is, on a failure to extract, you already got a magazine in there, right?
Yeah.
Tap the magazine, rack it, roll it, and then get back online. Okay? That's it. Don't try to reload it. Okay? So right now, I don't care if the slide stays back for right now. Just get that thing cleared. Tap, rack, roll, stay in your workspace. Stay. Don't worry about your magazine. He called it a clip again. Lord Jesus. I know he's coming back soon now. All right, tap, rack, roll. Keep it in your workspace. You understand? Go. Don't worry about your slide. There you go. Good. Good. All right. Any questions? Don't worry about plenty of time. Okay? Thanks, guys. All right, guys. Yeah, we'll collect it later. Okay, so what we had here is a misfire. Misfire, your indicators are what? We got a click or a slacky trigger. A slacky trigger means what? It's out of maybe battery sometimes. If this thing is out, your trigger is not going to feel the same. Right? It's not going to feel the same. What are the causes of a failure to fire or a misfire?
Operator error.
What is the cause of a misfire? What is a misfire?
Bad ammo.
Could be bad, yeah, bad primer, bad ammo. There you go.
Not,
What up?
not gripping your gun.
All right, so what are we going to do? We have defective ammo. We have operator error. All right? So how are we going to clear it? Tap, rack, and roll. Right? Fire if necessary. Next one is a failure to eject. What is that? Indicators are? Indicators are slack trigger, invisible brass, stovepiping. Causes defective ammo, carbon buildup, faulty ejector, recoil spring is weak, or loose grip. Okay? Clearance is what? Look, sweep, assess. Some people say sweep by taking your hand and removing the cartridge. I don't do that. Rack it. Okay? Rack the snot out of it. Tap, rack, and roll. I don't care if you accidentally rack one good, it doesn't matter. Get that thing back online and re-engage if necessary. Okay? Failure to extract. Indicator, slacky trigger again. Out of battery. Doesn't mean it's out of batteries. What does out of battery mean?
Not cycled.
It hasn't completed its full firing cycle. All right? If this slide gets pushed back, it's out of battery. It's not going to fire. You understand? That's out of battery. All right? Causes, failure extractor claw, ruptured case, carbon buildup, magazine not fully seated, faulty magazine. Clearance is to lock the slide to the rear, strip the magazine out, work the slide, tap it, rack, and assess. Fire if necessary. We showed you guys a little bit of a quicker way of doing it. Is when it's a double feed, you look and assess, you yank that thing out. Now when you lock the slide back, you don't have to yank so hard. Okay? Because that slide's not pushing against it. But some of us, now again, I was with some of the Marines when I was training at this time. They were just taught to yank that thing out of there. You're strong enough. Yank it out of the rack, and get back up online. Okay? Sometimes you won't have the time to lock it in the lock position, and then pull out, and then do all that stuff. Just yank the thing, rack it, and get up online and get that thing back in. Okay? Slide is out of battery. This one's kind of weird. Sometimes people find it because of dirt and debris and everything else, or whatever have you. The slide is locked is locked back, and it's not locking all the way back. Sometimes, guys, you just have to hit it on something hard, pop, to get that slide to come back all the way south. It's weird. But do it on something, not mud. Don't do it on something where you're going to clog your muzzle or your barrel. Okay, do it on something that's relatively hard. If it's locked, bam, hit it. And when you sometimes hit it hard, guys, you'd be amazed at what you do in stressful situations to get your weapon back up. Oh, what's that? Oh, good. Move! I'm back up. Okay, so indicators again. What is always one of the indicators? Slacky trigger. That slack trigger tells you a lot. Okay. Slide is not fully set. It's not locked. Calls is dirty firearm. It's again dirty. Clean your firearm. Low powder charge, weak recoil spring. Look. Take it on a hard surface. Get it to go fully forward. Double feed. You guys loved those, didn't you? Slide is out of battery. Slacken the trigger. Cartridge did not eject. The cause is bad magazine, weak recoil spring, bad ejector claw, weak grip. Get a good firm grip on your weapon systems, please. Okay? Keep a firm grip. Correction, strip the magazine from the firearm. Rack the slide multiple times. Load, refresh, or a fresh magazine. And get back to work. Hang fire. A hang fire is a delay in the ignition systems. I'm back on aircraft. All right. It's a delay in the ignition of the cartridge after the primer has been struck. This is dangerous because a lot of times, guys, they're like, click, what the? Bam! Or who's seen the YouTube video that went viral where the guy looked at a shotgun? The hunters are like, yeah! He was out there and click, boom, blew his bill off. that close to his face. Okay? All right, so what do we do? There's 30 seconds. Keep the firearm pointed down range. Wait for 30 seconds. This is for firing range. This is not live fire. Live fire, you're moving. Racket. Move. Move, move, move. Squibbed round. Haven't seen many of these, but I have seen them. Very dangerous. Okay? Don't get lost in just the bang, bang, shoot 'em up type thing, because when you get a squibbed round, that means, well, I'll go ahead and talk about it. Less than normal pressure or velocity develops on the ignition of the cartridge. Stop firing immediately because most likely the bullet is still in the barrel. It didn't even come out. And if you keep pulling the trigger, or you tap rack and roll it, tap rack and get another one in there and shoot, your gun's done. It's gone. Okay? So it's going to be that boom, boom, beep. What the? It's going to sound different. You're not even going to have the same recoil. Okay? Stop immediately. Throw it. We talked about reloading. Admitted reload position is what? It's up here every time. Please remember the safety arch when you're out there on the range. Okay? When I move, it's a natural arch. Okay? Muzzle always stays down. It doesn't matter what malfunction you have or anything. I don't want to see these things going side to side. You got guys and gals to your left and right. All right? Keep it in that safety arch. Look at it if you want to. Now, again, this is for malfunction to a point. Now, again, do you understand the difference of target shooting and combative shooting? If we're on combat shooting, something's messed up, we're always here, right?
Yeah.
Always look here. I rarely ever want anything down here unless it's a hard jam. Okay? There has to be some occasions, exceptions to the rules. Okay? If there's a major malfunction, you're not in a combat zone, then yeah, it's okay. But I want to try to minimize training scars as much as possible. So when anything goes down, keep it in your workspace. Add mid-reload position, you can bring it up here, load, make ready, you load, you rack it, and now it's made ready. You either come back down to the load ready compressed, or you put it back in your holster, and then we begin the exercise. Okay? That's at mid-reload. Speed reload is what?
When your slide's locked back.
Slide is locked back. Your magazine is empty. You let the slide go to the ground, right? Boom, 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 the slide's locked back. Oh shoot, I'm empty. You go let that slide to the ground, get back in your workspace and get back on. Okay? All right? Next is the tactical reload. What is a tactical reload?
Reload before you go.
Thank you very much. You're still in the fight, but there's a pause. Do you want to go into a fight with a half empty mag or a full?
Full.
That's why you do a tactical reload. There is a slight pause. All right, you got to get this out. Now watch. You can do the L. See how it's an L? Okay? We'll talk about pulling your magazines out of your mag pouch. A lot of times your magazines, and when they're in a mag pouch, try to keep them forward the best you can around your workspace. And also, see the cap here? It's pointing toward your belt buckle. Don't point it this way. Point it towards your belt buckle. See how it's pointing toward the belt buckle? Because now there's two different ways of pulling that out. There's a beer can grip, and then there's appendix grip. I always use appendix grip. I reach over it, grab on with my fingers, but as I pull it out, look at my index finger. It runs along the forward edge of the magazine. So when I pull it out, I'm pointing where the magazine goes, into my mag well. Okay? So what I'm going to do here is, since this one needs to come out, I'm going to put my index finger and I'm going to saddle it. Opening up my palm, getting that out, rotating that in, using your palm, get it in, get this one back in your mag pouch. A lot of times you want to use the one that's furthest away. Your fullest mag pouches need to cycle forward because it's closer to what? Your workspace. Okay? Then you're back online. That's the difference. When do you load? Behind cover. Concealment or cover. What is the difference of concealment and cover? Cover stops projectiles. Concealment only conceals you from the enemy. Okay? Workspace. Everybody knows what the workspace is. Combat glide. And yes, this is the basic course. Sorry, you're going to be shooting on the move. Yes. Okay? Something about a combat glide. Heel to toe, heel to toe. You see that? Now, when I walk, I'm walking on a straight line. I'm not going, okay? I'm not wavering back and forth. You're walking on a straight line. We're already here, right? We're already in a fight. So as you walk heel to toe, and you really have to use your stabilizing muscles in your lower body. More of the smaller muscle groups. When you walk backward, toe, heel. But what you want to do is minimize the muzzle wobble. Okay? If you don't, see how it does that? It starts moving. So get your shoulders up, get them rocked down, and move heel to toe. Watch your front side pose. All right? Try to reduce muzzle wobble. You just can't walk. Here and move. And it's an art. You got to get used to it. Okay? In martial arts, we do that a lot by katas. In katas, when we move, we make sure the upper body doesn't move. It's like you're in a very small tunnel. It's the same as a combat glide. Do not bounce. Any questions?
Marching man does that too.
Absolutely. My son, it was beat into him. Unlock your joints. Nurses, this is where you're going to come in to help out. It's always going to be a fist fight before a gunfight. In any type of fight, someone's going to bleed. Okay? So if you get shot, or someone else gets shot, a teammate, some of your brothers and sisters in the congregation, this is our medic first aid hemorrhage control. Severe bleeding is frequently the most serious risk to the injured person's life. Okay? Let's keep the lifeblood inside of them. If you have found severe bleeding during a primary survey or primary patient evaluation, treat the patient using the following steps. Utilize your personal protection equipment. What is personal protection equipment?
Your gloves, your safety glasses.
If any time in history, people out here should know what PPEs are, now's the time. Okay? PPEs, personal protection equipment, gloves, masks, face shields. Okay? I'll have mannequins and things that will spurt blood at you. Okay? Apply pressure directly to the wound until what?
The bleeding stops.
How long does it normally take for bleeding to stop?
Depends on the person.
That's a good answer. Totality of circumstances. That is now Jason's out for everything. His wife's like, why didn't you totality of circumstances, babe? What does that mean? Go to training.
Go to training. Ask Brian.
Ask Brian. Don't you dare. You're on your own, brother.
My daughter actually said that they're next to the teacher at school, so let's
I love it. That's good stuff. Okay, sometimes they say what? Maintain pressure firm for 10 to 15 minutes. What happens if they have blood thinners?
It'll be
It's
long.
gonna be longer than that.
There's a lot of factors that come into the play. Guys, you got to be educated. Through education, you gain knowledge. Through knowledge, you gain security. Through security, you gain a sound mind. And that's what you need under stress, is a sound mind. Okay? Use sterile bandage or cloth or clean cloth to hold a continuous pressure. Now, if you do not have gloves in your car, I really push for you guys to have a crisis management kit in your car. Okay? Breakaway bags or whatever you would like to call them. It'd be nice to have one inside of each of your vehicles. Because guys, regardless of what I teach you, I teach another program called FSD, Full Spectrum Defense Training Program. And out of everything I'll teach you, medic first aid is the most important. Okay? You'll use that 100 times more than you ever will your weapon system. Maintain thermal pressure 10 to 15 minutes. If the flow of blood increases when you release pressure, repeat it. Use your hands. If nothing else is available, if nothing else, use a baggie, a sandwich baggie, if you pack your lunch. All right? Put the sandwich baggie over your hands, whatever creates that barrier. Okay? If possible, wear rubber gloves or use a bag for protection. Don't remove the gauze or bandage. Okay? If it's still bleeding, don't remove the gauze and bandage. Grab another one, put it on top of that, and keep applying pressure. Okay?
I had an EMT actually come in one time, Brian.
Yeah.
I had a guy that, long story short, have dropped off to the ERs, inmates was trying to get to the ER. Well, they sold a razor from razor blade. He cut up here, saying he's gonna fall off. Well, he hit something pretty serious, and I had it packed full of towels. And like, when I came in, it was, with a heartbeat. And the EMT's like, man, I gotta see it. Like, no, just keep it on there and get him out of here. I wanna see it. I was like, here, you put your hand here, I'll move away. And he did, and he got him right there. I was like, I tried to tell you, you won't listen.
Okay, guys, 3 different types of bleeding. Capillary, arterial, and venous. What's the difference? Everybody knows arterial, right?
Capillary is just a shallow cut.
Yeah.
You're
Okay.
not going to get a lot of blood, but you're going to get blood.
Yes. Arterial,
Arterial,
We gonna get a lot of blood.
a lot of blood, dark
That's what
blood.
he did.
all right, so arterial bleeding, it is oxygenated, all right? That means it is bright red.
Yep.
Venous bleeding is not oxygenated. It is a dark red because that oxygen is no longer in it. It does not spurt, but it continues to ooze. It continues to seep. It doesn't matter what you do, okay? That's the difference. If you cannot apply continuous pressure, wrap a plastic bag firm over the gauze and to hold it in place. Guys, in the Vietnam War, guess what they used? Rocks. They were too busy fighting, so what they did is they grabbed the rock, they put a bandage over the wound, put a rock in, then they wrapped the rock on top, and the rock localized the pressure. Okay? Now they have bandages that have a plastic bulb in it. The bulb actually applies the pressure as you wrap them up. Okay? They also have clotting agents. Help me out here.
Quick clot.
There's quick clot. There was a specific word that I was looking for. Coagulants and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So they actually have bandages and things like that. You actually pack the wound with these. Okay? And what it does, it hurts like a dickens because it's completely disintegrating and melting the flesh inside them to cauterize it. Okay? That's what it's doing. Okay? So, the hemorrhage control, when you pack the wounds, my mannequin also has an open chest wound. It will be spurting at you. And you can start packing his chest as it spurts. Okay? You can stick your hands down in it, but do not stop. And once you put it in there, wrap and then apply pressure. Okay? Hemostatic dressings is what I was looking for. Too many Jolly Ranchers. Okay? You can also tie a knot in the bandage over the wound. Tie a knot, wrap it up. That knot actually helps as a localized pressure. Okay? There are different techniques. Immobilize the injured body part. Once the bleeding has stopped, leave the bandage in place. Get the injured person to emergency personnel, the closest hospital. Okay? Specifically designed tourniquets should be used only if you have the proper training, which you will have proper training for that. Jason, I think you have tourniquets for all your team members? Close?
We have about 6 to do training with.
Okay, good. We have 6. We've got lots of blood. Okay. All right, so you'll have training for that. Document the time once you applied the tourniquets. Now, some of my combat medics, they were taught to have it to where some blood still came through. Okay? I'm like, that might be for the medics, but for what I was trained, you completely cut it off.
But wouldn't that kill the limb if,
That's why you write the time.
okay.
You have to write the time and get them to local emergency room as quick as possible, get the EMS on their way as soon as possible, okay, because they can still help the limb. It's amazing what they can do these days, okay? But again, we're not in Afghanistan. We're not in Iraq. There are reasons why certain SOPs are put into place, okay? We're not that, okay? Because sometimes they actually monitor, they'll release a little pressure, let some blood come through, and then they'll tighten it back up. There's different techniques for different totality of circumstances. All right? That's my little limb that I made. It's pretty cool. Okay, tourniquets are applied for arterial venous hemorrhaging. Place the tourniquet above the wound at least how many inches?
2.
2 inches. And not over the joint. Not over the joint. Turn the windlass rod until the bleeding stops. That's what I'm teaching you. Twist it until it stops. Okay? It is a lot of pain. Okay? Now we got to deal with shock. All right? The skin is cold and clammy. It may feel pale gray. The pulse is weak and rapid. Blood pressure is below normal. Okay? What's normal blood pressure? 120 over 80. Not in all circumstances, but that's what's documented as normal. Breathing may be slow or shallow. Hyperventilating. The person may be anxious, do you think? A person may be nauseated. He or she may vomit. The eyes lack luster. That's for you, James.
Thanks.
I knew you love that. Lacks luster. May seem to stare as a dead man stare, kind of a cold stare. Okay? Movies try to portray that a lot. Sometimes the pupils are dilated. The person may be unconscious. If the person is conscious, they may feel weak or confused. Okay? We will be playing a lot of this stuff out, guys, in force on force and everything else. Okay? When we have an active shooter drill, things like that, some will be playing victims. Okay? What's your primary objective when this happens? It's the guy shooting everybody. That's your primary objective. Sometimes you're going to have to stop and cut out the human tendencies to want to just help everybody. And sometimes you got to turn cold. Because when everyone is running to you because you're a sign of safety, you will have to grab them and push them out of the way and just get them off of you and deal with the problem. Okay? There's going to be a lot of stuff, guys. A lot of stuff coming. Treatment or shock. Have the person lie down on their back, call 911, keep the patient warm and comfortable. Warmth is everything. It's just amazing. For any type of anxiety, warmth has something that has a healing process to it. It's something about it. Cover the person with a blanket. Raise the feet 6 to 12 inches, provided the patient hasn't suffered neck or back injuries. If you're pale, anyone know that one? If you're pale, raise the tail. If you're red, raise the head. If they're pale, raise the tail. Get their feet elevated. Okay? If they're pale, raise the tail. If they're red, raise the head. Okay? If possible, supply emergency oxygen if you're trained to do so. In another video that I can't play. This was actually one of my appendages that one of my students had to use the tourniquet with.
It's Apple.
I know it's Apple. Daggone James. Not James, Jason. Sorry, James. I threw you under the bus. No one should die from uncontrollable bleeding. Okay? Develop an acronym THREAT to assess the situation. THREAT. Threat, suppression. Take care of the threat first, guys. Threat suppression. Take them out. Hemorrhage control. Rapid extraction to safety. Rapid extraction to safety. Okay? Sometimes, guys, some of the drills that we do, hopefully you guys stick around long enough, you'll be dragging people. Okay? You're going to be trying to extract them to where now your other team, look at this team. Look at this team. Drag them. Boom. Down. We'll work on SOPs and who takes point. Okay? We're going to talk about formations when it gets into the advanced stages. Room clearing, hallway clearing, clearing stairs, communications, nonverbal, low light ops. All this stuff's coming, guys, but we got to go steps. But look at this team. Get them back. Boom, someone else can now take over while other people take point and move. That's why this is so important. It's not just the gun. It's not just hand-to-hand. It's medic training. It's saving lives. That's what we're here for. That's what this is for. working as a team. And please understand this. Extreme ownership exists. Can I have everyone's attention real quick? Extreme ownership. Do you know what that means?
You own what
You own what you do.
Do you not know what you signed up for?
That's it.
You own that.
Absolutely.
If you fail, you own that. If you don't do your job to the max, you own that and everything else that comes with it. So right now, chalk it up. You own it. Extreme ownership. What you learn and what you do or don't do will directly and indirectly affect everybody around you. Not only your team, but everybody who's out there worshiping. Time is life. In the medical field or any other field, time is life. You hesitate, someone's going to die. If you throw your shot, someone's going to die. Okay? I don't want to, this is not a candy coat thing. Yes, we have a good time. There's a time and a place. But now, guys, I want you to wrap your heads around something real quick, and that is the extreme ownership. You own it. If you don't get here, you don't train, you don't work with your teammates, you can't communicate, you don't have any SOPs, you don't know what you're doing, take this off and just be a part of the crowd. I don't care. Enjoy your time here and worship and mingle. But take that off. Extreme ownership comes with that. You owe it to everybody in this room. So when everything hits the fan, own it. Actions are quicker than reactions. It is a time for what? When we go in and we room clear, it is off of what? Surprise. Speed. Performance level is what? Complex motor skills. Visual reaction time. Cognitive reaction time. Do you know what cognitive reaction time means? You're thinking. You're able to troubleshoot. All right? 115 to 145, complex motor skills are at their best. Visual reaction time, you're now tuned in. Okay? Condition red, 155, complex motor skills. What are fine motor skills? Yeah. Tying little knots. What are complex motor skills? Yeah, trigger squeeze. All right? Dexterity. What's complex motor skills?
Thank you.
Complex.
Unified.
A little less, detail. A little less, but you can still throw a hook. It's 175, cognitive processing deteriorates. You are now in condition gray. You're going into what? There's a tunnel vision. It's visual distortion. All right? At 175 beats a minute, loss of peripheral vision, loss of depth perception, loss of
Near vision.
and auditory exclusion. Why do they always say, hands, 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 show your hands? Because those guys are freaking out too. Okay? They might not hear, or they just don't care. Okay? But you always have to repeat. Sometimes they don't even hear a gunshot. They're so stressed. Okay? But understand, why are you losing all these? Guys, why are you losing these?
As long as your heart rate's through the roof, your blood is pumping.
Stress.
adrenaline.
All of that equals survival stress. Who has had hypothermia before? Got close to it. Okay? What happened? Dexterity was gone. You really couldn't do anything here. All the blood was going where?
The organs.
To help you survive. Guess what's going on in survival stress? Same thing. When your heart rate goes up, you're going to get right in here, people. This is where it hits. This is where it sucks the most. Okay? 176 to 220 beats a minute, irrational fighting. Now you're in condition black. We've all seen that irrational fighting at bars and stuff like that. They just until someone hit that button, and all of a sudden they're like, oh, look, he's down. Freezing, paralysis. Happens to law enforcement a lot, guys, I'm telling you. I've seen stories, and I've heard stories, it's a bunch of stories, going down a hallway in a house, all of a sudden some guy comes out with a shotgun, and it's just like, and he couldn't move his legs fast enough. Submissive behaviors. Vasoconstriction. Now, scientists are trying to get where vasoconstriction goes back to condition yellow. Remember when you were optimum, you were at your prime and in the zone, everything's hidden? They would love vasoconstriction to be in that range, but right now they can't do it. What is vasoconstriction?
When your veins get smaller.
Okay? Vasoconstriction also reduces blood wounds. The dilation, is that right? Dilation of the arteries? I'm looking at my nurse.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's the other way.
So it's vasoconstriction, so it opens. It opens larger.
It clamps down.
Okay, it dilates. For me, dilating is down. But it doesn't matter. Dilation is dilation. So it dilates smaller. So what that is actually doing is being able to reduce bleeding. That means, again, the blood, that's another reason why you lost your peripheral vision. That's why you lost the auditory exclusion. That's why you can't think. Because all the blood is going to the organs that help you survive. That's why you can run. That's why you also void your bladder and your bowels. Okay? That's why your gross motor skills are at its highest of running. Now, you can get shot fatally under vasoconstriction and still fight the fight for a good while. That's why we say you never quit the fight. You can lose a half a gallon of blood before you start losing hydraulics. That's a half a gallon. Have you ever seen half a gallon of milk poured out on the floor? That's a lot. Never quit. All right, the movies portray this, and when someone gets shot, right, and they still fight the fight, and after it's all over, they start to crumble and fall down. That's what they try to show you, is what's happening. Because when everything goes back to normal, guess what? Everything goes back. Blood starts going back to normal places, and before you know it, you start to want to get queasy and want to vomit because your blood no longer was there. All right? And if you void your bladders and your bowels, don't worry, that is natural. That doesn't mean you're chicken. Okay? A lot of tactical units take what they call a battle crap before they go out. Because if there's anything in there, it's coming out. Bottom line. Our warriors need to understand that, because there have been so many people out there without the education knowing that and thinking that they are less of a warrior because they defecated on themselves or urinated themselves. That's a psychological disaster for a lot of them. This is normal. It's okay. Okay? It is okay. Thing is, have confidence in your abilities. Learn to tactical breathe. Tactical breathe depends on the lung capacity of the individual, but sometimes you breathe in for 4 seconds, you hold for 4 seconds, you let out for 4 seconds, and you hold for 4 seconds. That's just an example. Some people have to breathe in for about 6, exhale for about, hold their breath for about 3, and exhale about 6. You have to find what works for you to lower your heart rate. Lower it down, slow it down. Is it going to happen immediately? No, it's not. It takes a while, but it takes practice and training. You're not going to just automatically do it. That's why when people get excited, they're what? Their veins pop out, they get all red-faced, and their nostrils start to flare. Because they're trying to take oxygen in, okay? All right, we talked about this before. This is getting into hand-to-hand combat, okay? Your combat compass is only talking about the way you step or move off the X, okay? So anywhere you look, that's forward, right? Pretty simple. Anything you have behind you is reverse. Pretty simple. You're going to find that when you get under stress, most likely the exit you're going to take is reverse. Even the trained professionals, we tell them, encircle your adversary. Encircle them. Don't just keep walking back, because there's going to be something there that you can't see and you're going to fall over. Okay, can I borrow you for a second? All right, so if me and him are getting into a confrontation, right? If he has a blade, or I got plenty of blades. Give me a second. So if he has a blade or whatever, somebody with an edge weapon, right? Remember reactionary gap in time? Remember our 4-count draw? Yeah, this sucks. Being this close. I would rather take a knife fight to a gunfight any day, because you're not going to see my knife. Okay? So, we're already here. He starts to swing, whatever. Go ahead, whatever. Keep going. Encircle them. Encircle them. Let's go on stage. Dance. All right? You have to encircle. Because let me tell you something, guys. Majority of the time, you're going to go. Because even under less stress, everything's going. Okay? Remember what your dead hand is, right? Where's your dead hand at? Right here in your workspace. You should already be ready to go. Whoa, 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 calm down. All right? Shoulders are already up. If he lashes at my neck, all right? This is covering what? I can get a good cheek laceration, right? I can get a deltoid laceration, but
He's not gonna get the crowd.
there you go. That's protected. Keep it tight. Okay? So, I'm going to have to calm it down a little bit since there's equipment and stuff here. So, if he comes in slow, it doesn't matter what, however. You all right? Blade and evade, right? Okay? Use those dead hands. Move. All right? Move around. Get around him. Don't just keep going back. Why? Because I can also see other people around me. Right? All right? So keep going. Jam him up a little bit. Get to this. Where's it at? Your knees are cats. Pop, 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 pop. Keep pulling the trigger. Only time you extend, what?
When you get
Far enough.
away.
This is fine. Pop, pop, pop. Uh-oh. Look where it went.
Right to the knee.
Pop, 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 pop. All right? That's why we have a 4-count draw. That's why you have to move off the X. Thanks, brother. That's why you have to move off the X. So what we have forward, we have reverse, we have side to side, right? Positive 45s. Right in between the forward and the 90s, you have your positive and negative 45s. That's your combat compass. When you're reloading, and when you're doing stuff like that, step off the X. Some people say step off the tracks. Because if a train's coming right at you, you're still dead. Step off the X or step off the tracks. Okay? Your conflict zones. Can I borrow you? One is just across. That's all it is. Now, it could be a knife edge attack, or it could be a shudo. It could be maybe a roundhouse kick to the leg. Have you ever seen TIE fighters? Whenever TIE fighters are here, they come down on top of the leg. They're using gravity pop, pop, to help with that power hitting the leg. That's still an angle 1. It doesn't matter what appendage you're using. It matters on what angle is being thrown at you. Right? We have 2. So we have 1, 2. 2 is just the opposite direction. 3 is opposite of 2, opposite direction. 4, opposite of 1. You made an X. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay? 5 and 6 are straight across. 5, 6, 7 straight down. 8 straight up. Good. 9 straight in. 9 angles of attack, people. That is it. So if I'm here talking with him, what angle's that? 5. It's a 5. Angle 5. But what it's going to is the upper plane. Because you have, again, 4 point of contact planes. Shoulders to head is the upper. Shoulders to the belt, your workspace, right, is the middle. The lower is from the belt to the floor. And the center, if you look at the width of your neck, everything from the width of your neck down is vital. Okay? Everything from your width of your neck down is vital. That's the center. Okay? Now, I can have a number what? 5 to the lower? I mean the mid, right? 5 to the what? Upper? Right?
You can do that on lower, just going.
You
to
can
the
do what?
knees.
Okay, you have 9, right? 9, 9, 9. So you get my drift. Point of impact. Point of impact planes, 9 angles of attack. Now you have 8 basic weapons of the human anatomy.
This might be a stupid question, but.
No, go ahead.
These lines of attack, are they from my point of view, what I'm doing to him?
Yes. So if you're right-handed, your one is this way. If you're left-handed, your one is this way. Okay? Always from out to in. But guys, guess what? In reality-based, guys, you're going to get good with both. So just be prepared for that. You're going to be able to do this with both hands. It doesn't matter. Okay? 8 basic weapons of the human anatomy. Right here. Head, shoulders, knees, and toes. Amen. Head, shoulder, elbow, hand, hip, knee, shin, foot, 8. That's it. Traveling on 9 angles. That's it. Hitting 4 points of impact planes. That is it. Don't make it more difficult than what it is. All right? My foot, number 8. Boom. Right? Knife, number 8. All right, let's keep it simple, Sally. The KISS principle. Keep it simple. Don't. There's other words too. There's other words too. I ain't going to go into that. So there's your planes here, guys. Upper, mid, lower, center. Remember, the width of the neck. Okay? All right, guys. So, how much more time we have?
10 till 7.
10 till 7? Good. Guys, look here. Secrets of effective striking. Know them. Secrets of effective striking. First one.
Hard.
Strike hard. Now, hard weapons go to what? Soft targets. Soft weapons go to hard targets. A lot of times when hard meets hard, what happens? Something breaks. Something breaks. Okay, so try to remember that. Strike often, a minimum of
3 times.
If you go in with 3, at least 3. And adjust accordingly to totality of circumstances. If they block one, go with another. Okay? Dance the dance. Strike high and low. Woo, 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 woo. I love the Three Stooges. They got it. They knew it. That's exactly what it is. Strike low, strike high. You can always almost predict what the individual is going to do by the target you strike. Guys, we know this better than anybody when you're ball checked. Hey, buddy. They know you're going head forward. I'm glad they don't follow up after that. Hey, buddy. I got your larynx. Come on, walk with me. I mean, you just give it to them. As soon as you bend over, their hand's right there. Oh. So that's what you guys can do. It's a typical reaction. It's a reflex. You can actually take care of that. Sometimes you can actually take care of incapacitating a limb by knowing where the arteries and nerves are.
I just had electrical shocks going through my arm right now.
Yeah. Okay? When you hit these things, a lot of times, guys, you got to visualize yourself punching that bicep off. And when I believe in hit. When you hit that, speaking from experience, my arm went, and I couldn't extend it. I had nice little black bruises there where he hit me. Woo! Okay? So, strike hard, strike often, high-low principle, strike fast. We're going to look at hammer and palm smashes and front kicks tonight. Okay? Hammer and palm smashes. Who's worked a hammer before? You know the hammer smash. Who's seen some of Steven Seagal movies back when he was pretty cool?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. That's what I'm talking about. I'm gonna wait. Steven Seagal used the hammer smashes a lot. Okay? When someone come in with a strike with a number 9, he did them a lot. Can you go ahead and strike? Yeah. He would come in and just. Okay, now there's a different way of doing this. Sometimes, even if they reach and grab, it doesn't matter. There's in. You work into the adversary. Okay, you enter into their attack. The other one is working outside the attack. A lot of people like to work outside the attack because that also eliminates that or whatever appendage that they didn't strike with. Go ahead and grab. So as he grabs, here, this also can help trap. Move it back, giving you space to move, right? Dead punch. Oh yeah. Go ahead and move it back a little bit. Make a little bit of contact. A little bit harder. Right here. A little bit harder.
James like, I'm gonna die.
Yeah. All right. Remember, blade, evade, deflect, block. That doesn't go away. That kind of hurt. All right? Now, you guys are like, yeah! He made us sit through all of that. Hurt him! All right, so now we're supposed to be here, right? All right, go ahead and hit. Go ahead and hit. And all it is, guys, it's hard to hit something that's covered. Then hit. Hit. Come on. There you go. Come on. All right? But keep tight. Keep squared. Keep engaged. Okay? All right?
Scared man.
Stay covered up. What also this proves is that if it's a static target, it's a dead target.
Yes.
Doesn't matter if you're empty hands or whatever you are. He punches and I don't move. He's just going to keep on coming. And that's fine. No, it's good. That's fine. But that's what's going to happen. Your survival stresses are going to go, "Aye," and you're going to go what? Paralysis, and you're going to be like, "Aye." No, you're going to fight. All right? Time is life. Get to work. Get to work. Brutal. Action is quicker than reaction. Step off the X. Once they have dedicated, if I go for his nose, and I dedicate myself to that nose, he can do whatever he wants because I cannot pull this once it's launched. Once it's launched, it's gone. So if he blades and evades, yeah. And a lot of times, guys, I hate to tell you this, but the majority of the people you're going to have to do this with are not experts. Oh, yeah. They're not experts. And a lot of them don't understand what survival stress is. They don't understand why physiologically they're like, is that on? Okay, so that's the thing, guys. All right? So we're going to work on hammer smashes. Okay? Watch body dynamics. I don't want this. I don't want that. I want you guys to get in your ready positions. Okay? There's a thing called seize and control. Cock it. And use your body dynamics, your hips, and use gravity. Okay? This is warrior science. Warrior science is, there's a lot of physics in it. Okay? Things in motion tend to stay in motion until you put it to rest. All right? He punches to me or pushes me. Things tend to stay in motion. Okay? Things tend to stay in motion until you put this thing at rest. Do I have you? Palm smashes are the exact same thing. Instead of a hammer, open your hands up. When you hit, smear it down. You hit and you smear. You just don't go, snitch.
Carefully watch that.
Levi.
I saw that.
Levi.
I saw it in his eye. Remember the luster I was talking about? I saw the luster in his eyes.
I got the auto, man.
He said it.
And he's
I didn't
bigger
say
than
that.
the car.
All right, so palm smashes, guys, you hit and you smash. Your fingers can actually help by scraping the eyes. Palm smash, hit and down, hit and down. Easily done from here. Straight in, smash, it's the whole palm. Just smashing it and down. In a circular motion. Okay? Front kick, very simple. That's the front jab of the lower body. Front jabs get out in the back quick. Get it back and quick. Front snap, front kick's the same way. Listen, and then it's done. Pop, and guess what, guys? Ball check, and guess what they're gonna do? Get him to the ground. Hold him down. Okay? Front snap, hammer smash, palm smash. Okay? Any questions? Be nice. Help each other out. Talk about it amongst each other. Let's get it done right. Pair up. Let's go.
I got my mouthpiece now.